All right. Hello, my friends. How are we doing today? Good. We've only got one person here, so I'm just going to go ahead and blanket statement like I usually do. Welcome on into Dungeons and Dragons, our Sunday game called Unlikely Heroes. Tonight is session number 78. We've got the full crew here tonight. We are going to go through our regular recap, XP recap, and then take questions, comments, and clarification from the group before I jump into it. We'll just kind of go from there. If you're watching the VOD and you are watching chat at the same time for whatever reason, which actually some people do go back and watch it, and you notice that I'm not paying any attention to chat, it's because I don't pay attention to chat, at least not a whole lot while I'm DMing, because I do believe in giving my players the absolute most attention I can possibly give them, as they deserve it, and quite frankly, they need it. They're needy. I mean, they're players. What do I fucking do here? So, anyways, let's go ahead and dive into it. Session number 78 of Unlikely Heroes. All right, guys. Okay, so session number 77, quick recap there. So that was a really cool session last week. I went back and watched the VOD. It was like 1.5 times I watched the VOD, and I was like, that was a pretty cool session. Showed the giant scene to the kids, and they were just fucking cracking up. So, anyway, so you guys started last session. You went and talked to the old dwarven woman in the Circle of the Land, who was up in the mountainous biome. You had a conversation with her, and then you bought something. What the hell did you buy? Like emerald dust or something?
Ruby dust.
Ruby dust. Yeah, it was something weird. So you bought yourself some ruby dust. Oh, Candace disappeared, man.
Yeah, my thing was acting weird.
Oh, okay. So you guys bought some ruby dust, had a conversation with her, and then you decided that you were going to take off. And you did. And first day of travel, you guys got down to a bridge that crossed a river from north to south that kind of separated this part, this part of the continent. And at the bridge, there were two giants, two hill giants, one facing towards you and one facing away, and they were both sitting at either ends. So there was a lot. I saw the wheels turning. Like, do we just fucking murder these guys and move on, or do we go down and try to jump over, or how do we do this? And interestingly enough, and thankfully, you guys decided to take the talking approach, and within the conversation you found out that they were supposedly toll collectors, and they were there to shake you guys down. Gray tried to offer them money, and the giant who was talking to him at the time essentially laughed in his face and told him, "I don't want your damn money, I want your food. Give me anything you got, now, let's go." And that's when Doc and Aurora showed up to the conversation, and Doc, with her infinite wisdom, decided to offer them something they probably never tasted before. And that was a good gamble and a correct gamble, and that was gnomish macaroons. And after, I believe, how many total macaroons was it? It was like 12 or 15?
I think I think 12.
Yeah, something like that. It was a lot of macaroons that you wound up giving them. You've... What? Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought I heard you say hi, and I was like, hi. So you guys gave him a bunch of macaroons, and then kind of like confused them into getting off the bridge, and it was about that time that they started to kind of get sick, and you decided to just go ahead and leave that alone, leave them to their devices and whatever was going to happen. Doc, unfortunately, caught wind of one of their insides, deep wind, a mighty wind, and suffered physical poison damage from it. It was pretty rough. Anyways, you guys traveled the remainder of your route, which actually went way faster than it should have, because Aurora was leading you, and Grasslands or Plains happens to be one of Aurora's favored terrain. So you guys almost quite literally hoofed it all the way down to the Swamp of Sorrow. When you arrived, you realized, as you approached it anyways, that the entirety of the swamp was shrouded in kind of like a half sphere of shadow. This is very similar to most of the places that you guys have encountered these sorrow-sworn creatures before. When you entered, you followed the trail as best as you could into the northern part, where Xavier told you he had a contact, a priest of Pelo, who lived essentially just at the edge of the swamp, who who acted as a shepherd for those either entering or leaving or living in the swamp. Along the way, there was a horrific amount of mosquito and insect bites that eventually led to cackling fever. And the cackling fever spread quickly from Aurora to Doc. Thankfully, Gray and Ree found themselves at the very short end of the disease, meaning that they resisted it almost in its entirety. The other two, thankfully, were cured. Doc, realizing what this disease was and what was going to happen to them if it was not cured quickly, went ahead and purged it from your systems. Little while later, and a slow trudge through the remainder of the swamp, in the darkness now, which did seem to allow the safe passage for the most part. The bugs were reduced by like 95% with no light. The only reason they attacked you was because of Aurora's light. So in good girlfriend fashion, Doc just took her hand and led her like a child in the darkness. So yeah, then you guys arrived at this hut that you find yourselves in right now on screen. And when you arrived, you went to knock, and the door swung open, and there stood an older, not ancient, but an older human man dressed in white and golden flowing, though a little bit on the dirty side, robes that were emblazoned with the symbol of Pelo. He welcomed you, beckoned you inside. You came inside and noticed that he essentially had like a very teeny tiny chapel set up here in the middle of this swamp. And you guys had a very brief conversation, and where we will be picking up today is on the 10th of Jury. We are looking at about 12 p.m. It's only noon, however, the darkness makes it seem like it's midnight. And we will be picking up right as the three ladies of the group took themselves behind the partition to, if I am not mistaken, get themselves cleaned up, because it was kind of and do ointments and stuff like that, to kind of get themselves back on track. And Gray, who was kind of awkwardly standing by the pews, looked over, and this old man was kind of staring up at him almost endearingly, and leaned over and in a very sweet southern old man voice said, and I quote, "So, tell me, sweet boy, how did you fall from grace?" And that's where we ended the session, so that's where we're going to pick up this time. XP. You guys got 900 experience for the giant encounter. Remember, regardless of how you go about it, doesn't always have to lead to combat and death. However you go about it, you completed that encounter and you were awarded 900 apiece. 2 hill giants is no bullshit. Roleplay, 500. So that is 1,400 for everybody for the session, which puts Gray at 50,506. Aurora, 49,744. And the remaining 2 party members at 52,574. Alright, so, now if I'm not mistaken, Gray and Aurora, you guys had leveled up last time, is that right? Or was it like 2 sessions ago? Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I wouldn't go, oh, you leveled up. I don't have the other card because they get full fast. Alright, so that's where we're at. Any questions, comments, or clarifications that you guys would like?
The 10th is Sunday, is that correct?
Yes, the 10th is a Sunday. It is Sunday, the 10th of Jury at about noon, but you'd be surprised considering how dark it is.
Oh no, we've done it. It's Sunday on a Sunday.
Oh.
Well, I guess, yeah, it's still Sunday for me this time, so yeah.
For now. Halfway through this session. No. Alright, well, with that being said, let me go ahead and get some ambiance. The Mushroom Forest, by the way, is the name of this ambient track. Alright, so, the ladies, you have all found yourselves behind this partition, and you are in the process of lotioning yourselves up with ointments to kind of stave off the bug bites and the stings and the itching that is starting to manifest now after your little soiree through the swamp. And Gray, I don't know if you had sat in the pew or if you were standing, but that's kind of a moot point. Either way, this old man, he looks up at you, and he's talked a little bit since you guys have gotten here. But yeah, he looks up at you and he says, "So, tell me, sweet boy, how did you fall from grace?"
Okay, so in response to that, I actually thought about this more than I thought about my strategy for yesterday.
That's awesome.
And I still don't have a good answer, but I think Ray's just gonna stare at him. I'd look at him confused and say, "What?"
He smiles. He doesn't break the smile, and he really tries for eye contact. And then he clutches this very modest wooden carved holy symbol of Pelo that has a single band of gold around the outside edges of the sunbursts, and he says, "Sweet boy, there's no fooling an old man, and there's definitely no fooling my lord." And he glances down at the holy symbol and looks back up at you. "You did not fall from grace in your mama's womb. That happened far after. So tell me, how did you fall from grace?"
Ray's gonna sigh and go, "Oh, you clerics. Oh, holy people are all so annoying. I barely told the others." And he's gonna point to the apartment.
He smiles and he kind of puts a hand up and he says, "My boy, I am not the others."
I know, so I'll be honest. I see no reason to tell you. If I can't tell them, why would I tell someone I just met?
Fair enough. But I don't think it's a matter of can't tell. It's a matter of won't tell. I asked you that question, sweet boy, because I also see that little tiny halo dripping above your forehead right now, which tells me that you are walking the path of the righteous once more, though you have not fully found what you are looking for. So I'd like to offer you a small piece of advice, a quick word of wisdom. Sometimes, in order for one to find the path they truly walk, or truly should be walking, they need to acknowledge the path that they left behind them. And in my opinion, and in Pelo's opinion, and probably in your friends' opinions too, there's a good chance that talking about it is the first step to redemption. Or maybe it's the last step. You got a little flicker in your eye every once in a while when I mention Pelo. So I know what's going through your brain at least a little bit. You know that the darkness, the shadow that looms within your heart, it ain't the right way. You'll come to. I have faith in that. Us silly old clerics, we got faith, boy, I tell you what. You guys hear like the kind of the laughing of the old man. At this point, he turns away from you and he leans back heavy in the pew and he kind of rests his arms, side-eyes you again, and he says, "I won't press you about it anymore, but when you're ready to talk, I'm ready to listen."
Great, glad we had a conclusion. And then Gray's gonna start walking away, but then he's gonna stop and go, "My concern isn't the path, it's the destination. And I have a place I want to go. And Celestia, it's not it."
He nods, and he says, "Oof, I've heard the stories of Mount Celestia. And let me tell you something, boy. That ain't my path either. All them golden robes and noses in the air, big feathery wings, no thank you. I think I'll stay grounded right here in this swamp till the day I die. And if I'm lucky, I'll feed the mushrooms I've tended my whole life. But my spirit is what's important to me. I ain't doing this for a state of mind. I'm doing this so that my soul can be free once I depart the prime material. If Mount Celestia ain't the place you want to go, may I inquire what your final destination is? Or what your anticipated final destination is?
I'm gonna visit an old friend. One that's always watching over me.
Fair enough. Well, I wish you the best of luck in that, my boy. I really do. I hope you find that path. And I hope more than anything that along the way, you right whatever wrong you did. As I do for all fallen Azamar. It's never too late to come back to the light. And again, that little halo above your head proves me right. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, maybe you go behind that partition once those ladies are done getting themselves all oiled up. Have a look in my mirror.
I'll kind of nod and then, I guess, walk away.
Okay. So he sits
No
there.
more holy talk.
Yeah. He sits there and he fidgets with the, because I'll engage your ass for an hour. He sits there and he just starts to kind of fidget with the holy symbol, and he, pulls out a small book and he just kind of starts quietly whispering through prayers until the ladies are done. Ladies, what are you doing?
Doc would probably just be going into Doc mode. So injuries, using the ointment or whatever. I think it was ointment that was handed over on the other two.
Yeah, it's like a salve.
You want me to get somebody's back? Get your back, Doc.
I already have my back.
You put the goo. I'll get the goo on your back.
Oh yeah, I guess I probably have wounds too.
You can probably do both at the same time. Big hands. It's getting weird. Let's just get this over with.
All right, so in the least possible awkward fashion, which is tough considering Ree's involved, you
Her resting state is awkward as fuck.
We.
Yeah, room's totally silent. What? Why is it so fucking weird in here? And Ree's just like, I'm so sorry.
Was I drawing again? Oh god.
So you put the ointment on, and it's essentially like a calamine lotion, like on all the bites and scrapes and scratches and little itchy bits that you've got. As soon as it hits, it soothes it. It doesn't completely go away. The rash doesn't just magically vanish, but it definitely does help. So you re-robe. You kind of, he's got a couple like brushes back there, and you brush out like the burrs and the thorns and the thickets and things that had caught on your clothing while you guys were walking, and then you come back out, we'll say, 20, 25 minutes later, and Gray is off kind of by himself, and the old man is sitting there in the front pew, just kind of quietly holding his holy symbol in one hand and reading through just a little tiny like notebook in the other hand.
I don't know why, but I imagine like Ree, when her hair is like combed out, just gets like really poofy. Kind of fluffs out a little bit. It's been a while since it's been combed.
Plus, it's humid as shit here, so it's not staying.
Yep. Just defying gravity.
It's like as you walk around the corner, the priest he's looking up from his prayer book and he says, "Oh, late. Oh my goodness." And he just kind of stares at Ree.
What? Did I got one on my face?
Oh, bless your sweet little heart, Goblin. You
Oh.
are cuter when you're combed up like that.
Dak will start fidgeting with her hair and trying to get it back into a ponytail.
Damn, Ree, did you get taller?
Oh, what? Do you like it? What? You like it?
Yeah, I think it's fine as you were before.
Nice.
Aurora, who by the way had zero shame through any of it, she was just, let's just get this over with kind of thing. Once Ree's gone out, is going to turn to Doc and
Fucking Nat.
just kind of softly ask, do you want help with that? I can braid it if you like. Yeah, obviously,
You
it's
know how to
Doc
braid
telling her
hair?
to get her hair in a ponytail.
Oh, wait, this is for Rhea or is this for Doc? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's absolutely for Doc. I'm not touching goblin hair.
Oh my god, wow. Says the fucking half-orc. Jesus.
Doc would take a second, and then she would like, as she's messing with Ree's hair, she would kind of look and be like, sure. Yeah. And just so you know, she does not know how to sit still because nobody's ever done her hair for her before, so good luck.
You know, I don't think Aurora's gonna complain at all. She's just gonna move with you. So we're walking around the fucking place, and she's still trying to get it.
Imagine Rhea's probably not sitting still either because it hurts like fuck. I have a very sensitive scalp. Are you pulling the hair out or are you combing it? What the fuck are you doing?
All right, so you guys over the course of another like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I don't have hair, so I don't know how long it takes to do this stuff, but I assume it takes probably a minute. So you get yourselves settled as best as you can, and you rejoin, quote unquote, officially rejoin where this priest is, and he kind of moves up to the main table now, which is honestly just a really makeshift altar. And he sets his book down, and he turns back around, and as he does so, he kind of leans against the table, and then very unceremoniously, he pushes off of the ground and sits on the edge of the altar, looking out towards you. And he kind of like motions his hands down towards like where the pews are. At this point, he kind of takes a deep breath and he says, "So, obviously, Mr. Xavier, bless his sweet little heart too, told you all about me, though I'm not very hard to find, and I hope that word of this place will one day grow so that people visit me more often. What exactly do you seek here? Simply refuge?"
For tonight, refuge. But I think maybe any advice you have, anything you've seen, any details that'll help us get through this next challenge.
Yeah, we're trying to fight the monster that made the darkness happen in the swamp here. We fought several others before, but
Mr. Xavier did tell me a couple of things about your ventures so far, and some of it was quite alarming. I am aware.
for us too.
Oh, I can imagine. I've heard about your interest in the grove of the Circle of the Moon. I've heard little bits and pieces about your trek to Underhill, and I am aware that a piece of this fallen entity has landed in our swamp. So, I know a little bit about what y'all have come for. And that's why when Mr. Xavier reached out to me about 4 or 5 days ago and said to potentially be expecting some friends of his, and I said, "Now, Mr. Xavier, It's very rare that you contact me for anything less than ingredients for your magical crafting needs. Why in the world would you forewarn me about your friends coming for a visit in the swamp? By the way, did you not notice the entire swamp is very dark now? And he told me, listen, I have friends, some of them in very high places and some of them in very low places, and some of them that are wanted men by the law. At least in a few places. He glances over at Gray.
We're all the above, aren't we?
Gray is definitely smiling at the mention of him being wanted.
He blinks heavy, shakes his head, and then looks back at the gals. So, I took it upon myself to perform a couple of divination rituals to attempt to gain a little bit of information to potentially, hopefully, help you at least in some way, shape, or form in your travels and in your quest, I suppose. There are a few things that you should be aware of. Some of them are more alarming than others. However, I have some information about this dragon that you are having issues with. I divined the name Nothraxian because that's the name that Mr. Xavier gave me as potentially a cause for these creatures that have been plaguing some of our lands. The first time, I didn't successfully glean any knowledge, but I did not give up. I did it twice more over the last few days, and from what I could put together from the images that I have gained, this is more or less what I've learned. He reaches down now and he picks that little notebook up that he had and he flips a couple pages, and he looks down. So, long ago, very long ago, before any of us were even conceptualized by our great-grandparents, there was a gold dragon by the name of Nothraxian. This gold dragon was ambitious, born of the prime material plane, but when being taught by its mentors, learned of dark space travel. This dragon, though it was young at the time, more than a wormling, but definitely not quite in its adult phase as yet, decided to attempt to traverse dark space, and did so successfully on some sort of vessel. Nothraxian the Gold succeeded in what it wanted to do, which was to simply gain as much knowledge about the planes as it possibly could. It traveled all over our cosmos, from here to the Feywild, all the way up to Mount Celestia, to the Beastlands themselves, and according to what I saw, even Purgatory. Eventually, and unfortunately, Nothraxian the Gold's curiosities became overwhelming, and he wanted more. He eventually found himself in the Shadowfell, a place where very few entities, especially from the Prime Material, dare to go, because they know the dangers, the madness that lurks within the realms of that place. And it was there, unfortunately, in the Shadowfell, that darkness began to consume him. After many, many years, he found himself lost and lonely within these darkened lands. His hunger led the wretched beast to grow angry as the shadows consumed his mind, and so too his body. After years and years and years, the dragon was transformed from Nothraxian the Gold to Nothraxian the Shadow. Its own psyche, ripped apart and reformed by the Shadowfell itself, began to manifest around the dragon in the form of the Sorrow Sworn. So the Sorrow Sworn were not created by Nothraxian so much as they are a piece of Nothraxian's mind. Manifestations pulled from its very brain and materialized within the world, and thus the dangers of the Shadowfell are born. My assumption, and I can't confirm this, but my assumption as to why this dragon is so aggressive in attempting to take back these Sorrow Sworn when they were taken from it is because they are the last remaining pieces of its former humanity. Although they may be physical manifestations, I fear that this thing has gone absolutely, and excuse me, Pelo, but batshit insane. And knows nothing else but its own mind, and that mind is twisted and fucked 2 ways from Sunday. Pelo be praised.
I mean, definitely got that vibe from him.
Yeah, it's okay.
We were stuck in that lava pit.
I guess it does make sense why it would be broken out the way it is with the different types.
Now, my real question is, what have we been doing when we killed you? When we killed these things?
I was not there when they were killed, so I cannot answer that question. However, I am confident that these bits of its mind were physical manifestations of itself, and it is desperately angry and furious to the point of suicidal intention to get these things back, because they are it. And whoever took it, that I'm not aware of. I am aware that this vessel had something to do with it, but whoever took these pieces from it are the ones who caused it to leave its plane of existence and track these things down.
Well, we've gathered information from the ships that they were on their way to the Mount Celestia with these creatures, I think, right? Do I understand that right?
Yes, Mount Celestia sent a crew to investigate these creatures. Bring them back.
And then brought them back, and then it crashed here. The ship crashed here by accident, as far as I know, because it was being attacked by an Althraxian.
Right. So would I be able to think back to like my doctorate days and maybe use a medicine check to determine what could happen if I don't really know how to connect it, but my thought is if she knows that brain cells die, like what happens to a creature as that's occurring?
Sure, make a medicine check. When brain cells die, the creature dies. You slowly, depending on what brain cells die, different things happen. I mean, you know, if your brain, I mean, it really, I mean, you know the answer to this better than I do because you've got medical experience, but realistically, yeah, I mean, if parts of a creature's brain dies that control its eyes, it loses its sight. If part that controls its memory, it has no memory. If it, you know, if it starts to fade away parts that have to do with, you know, manual dexterity, you lose loss of your, you know, you have loss of limbs.
Okay. So I don't know things from a psyche side, but from a physical side of things, you know, different parts of the brain control different functions and desires and that kind of thing. If it works the same way, it's possible that as we're killing this, we're slowly killing Nothraxian.
So wait, so like we killed the hungry thing, so now it's not so hungry?
Depending on, I mean, I know that there was a certain number of each one, but that's my understanding.
So he didn't create these guys, but they're part of him.
His part of his personality or his.
The visions that I gained from these multiple divinations I performed showed me flashes of this creature, and I'm just gonna... I wrote these down in a semi-lucid state, so I apologize. Let me just read verbatim what I have written down here. Eventually, he found himself lost and lonely in the darkened lands. His hunger led the wretched beast to grow angry, and as the shadows consumed his mind, so too did it consume his body. And after years and years and years, Nothraxian the Gold was transformed into Nothraxian the Shadow. Its own psyche began to manifest around it in the form of the Sorrow Sworn.
So probably killing these Sorrow Sworn aren't necessarily killing Nothraxian, but it's... he just kind of relates to them, it seems like.
Sort of severed connection, I guess. You know.
Some kind of... like, it feeds them, and they feed Nothraxian. Kind of like a parasite.
Seems that way.
Well, I mean, either way, we do need to get rid of all these fuckers on this continent. So
We do. And Xavier did say, as we get rid of them, it's not going to be. He won't be coming after them as aggressively, and that would make sense along with this.
he seems to be getting more aggressive.
Probably out of desperation. As those are getting severed, he's losing connection to whatever that actually is. The parts of his psyche, the parts of who he used to be. I don't know if there's a way to release them without killing them. I'd love to restore him to gold.
What happened when you did that spell on the hungry one, the one that made it disappear for a little bit? Did that?
It wasn't actually the hungry one. It was
It was the
a
gold.
weird construct. But the way that magic works is it puts it in. If it's from here, it puts it in that like a holding place, kind of.
What spell are you referring to, Glitterbright?
Banish.
Banishment?
Yes.
You can perform banishment.
Yes.
Little Glitterbright, banishment is going to be your best friend if you have to encounter these creatures anymore. You and I both know what that spell does, yes?
Yes.
And you both and you understand that these creatures are not of this world.
Yes. And I'm
If you
wondering.
maintain concentration successfully on a banishment spell for long enough, you're sending that boy home.
Oh, you can keep him there if you just bamf
If
him out?
if I can keep my concentration on the spell long enough, yes, and I'm curious, knowing what we know now, if I successfully manage to hold it out and hold it off, will it restore that humanity back to Nothraxian the Gold? Because that's pieces
How
of him.
long do you need to hold it for it to completely stay away?
Well, if she can manage it for at least 60 seconds and keep that spell bound, she's gonna have to concentrate real hard to make sure that that works the way it needs to.
So a freaking eternity.
All right, so maybe we try to sneak in wherever it is. You pop banishment on it, and then we just kind of keep you safe.
What if there's multiple?
Oh shit!
Let me ask you this. There were a lot of very particular words used in the vision that I had. What types of creatures have you encountered already as far as these Sorrow Sworn are concerned? We play a little game of eliminate the ones that you've already dealt with and hope that you got one here that you haven't seen.
The lonely and the hungry.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, sweetheart.
The lonely and the hungry. For sure.
Alright.
Lost? I think that was the first one that hugged me to death, wasn't it? Or is that the lonely one?
I felt lonely when we went there. There's these little fuckers with like nasty fucking teeth, like little leeches. You kind of grabbed on and like sucked the life out of you a little bit.
Yeah. I believe, if we do believe the ghost of the Celestial, those were the wretched.
Yeah,
Sounds pretty wretched to me.
it was pretty fucking wretched. There was the nasty hungry dude who ate all my fucking friends. Pretty sure that guy was hungry.
Oh,
Beef,
if it
I
was
think
trying to
nearly ate you.
consume.
Yeah, he almost ate me and everybody else. And we got what? We're just missing. Are we missing the last guy, or do we have more? I don't know how many we have. How many Pokemon have we collected here? What the fuck's a Pokemon?
I don't know, but if you find out, you go on swing back by this this camp here, and I'll give you a token and a small ball.
What? He's Professor Oak?
Ironic, considering these walls are made of ash.
I figured it'd be one of the druids, but I guess I was wrong. Alright, anyway. I believe we have the Angry as one of them.
Yeah, I'm consulting my memory.
What I can tell you is that this creature, this Nothaxian the Shadow, is a very, very angry entity. It is furious. Furious. I mean, to pull itself out of the Shadowfell and to chase something through dark space is unconscionable without the proper magic or equipment to keep yourself protected. And it did it without either of those two things. So it was not happy, and obviously it got its vengeance in some way, shape, or form, as that ship did not survive once it penetrated the outer shell of the prime material.
Everybody on that ship was fucked up. Pieces.
Glitterbright, can you perform Speak with Dead?
Yes, I can.
Good. If you happen upon the ship pieces and you have anybody, well, I don't need to tell you, but if you find anybody with a working mouth, it might be useful to question them at least a little bit.
We've done that with a couple of them. We'll continue for sure.
Any information from these people as to why and what the hell they were doing? And, I mean, they probably didn't know what they were doing, to be quite honest with you, but any reason, I mean, did they give you any reason why?
They were transporting them. I'm trying to think as hard as I can right now to all of that, but they were transporting them from the Shadowfell to weren't they going to Mount Celestia?
They were gone to Celestia. You know.
His eyes go wide now. You're telling me Celestials traveled from Mount Celestia to the Shadowfell to steal creatures from an angry dragon and then take it back for some purpose?
I think research. They wanted to study them.
They wanted to find weaknesses and a cure to the illness these things spread.
That's what it was. Yeah, they wanted to kill the sadness illness or whatever they give.
That's
Oh,
nice.
yeah, the
New
purple.
creatures. They're trying to look for weaknesses as well.
Yes, actually, one thing I remember suddenly now, even though this has been like a really big part of like my past couple, like 3 months of my life, is like a lot of creatures like that happen to be around these Sorrowsworn tend to get these like purplish veins all over their body, and they're kind of possessed, and like they just kind of go fucking nuts, and like kind of attack everyone around them. So I think that was what the Celestials are trying to cure, that disease.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
How would the Celestials get that disease unless they were tampering with the Shadowfell? Why not just stay the hell away from it?
I don't know.
Sometimes, my friends, the heavens are not always right.
Maybe they're trying to get Malthraxian back to gold.
It's
Would
possible.
would that make sense?
Based
That
on
is a possibility. Have any of you been able to make contact with anybody from Mount Celestia? Yeah, on this excursion who is not dead?
we spoke with the contact.
Talk to Water Boy.
Yeah. It was kind of the same information. I know that one of the members that we successfully spoke with using Speak with Dead mentioned they were transporting the Sorrowsworn. They successfully captured the wretched, the hungry, the lonely, and the lost. They said they didn't know if they have any special weakness. They were resistant to everything. They're relentless, and they treated those with the disease, which there's only one treatment that they're aware of.
And what's that treatment?
Death.
Oh,
Not really much of a treatment, huh?
wow. That is... What in the heavens is going on in the celestial heavens?
It was an order from Captain Galahad. She was the captain of that ship, I believe.
Give me 1 sec.
Trying to have useful things to say. I'm gonna go back and look at my notes while you're talking.
Yeah, I'm upset my notes aren't with me right now. Otherwise, I would have.
I didn't realize I have a notebook and a half of notes. So
He says, Galahad. Not familiar with that name, but... Alright.
Xavier,
Yes.
would I'm taking a shot in the dark here, but was the person we spoke to communicate its name Arturius?
Give me 1 moment.
It's a water genasi, right?
Yeah, the Water Genasi Asimar. I just can't remember his name. I had it written down, but I don't have my notes.
yeah, that's what I'm looking for right now too. Glacius Arturius.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Glacius Arturius.
I'll take the half right.
It's pretty... Hey, yeah, you got his surname right.
There's this disease, from what we're understanding, it's not coming from this. Well, I guess technically now we know it is kind of coming from the Sorrowsworn, but it's coming from Nolthraxian, and it shows as weird glowy purple veins. Have you seen that anywhere in the swamp?
He says, weird. You know what? Now that you mention it, yeah, I have actually, to the southwest of here. If you take, there's a small deer trail that runs just outside my camp and goes straight into a bog, and then out of the bog it becomes a marsh. Once you hit the marsh, there's a small village, probably, I don't know, probably about 2-3 dozen people that live there. I mean, we're talking all sorts of sorts. They're just swamp dwellers. People who kind of live off the land, don't really like the outside folk, kind of druids and such. There's a couple of folks there who are pretty good shot, but most of them are honestly just mushroom farmers and rice pickers. I was there probably, it's probably been 2 weeks, 3 weeks now, to be honest with you. They had a small boy who had been up and messing with Bulgraz. Bulgraz is the name of this troll. Absolute son of a bitch. He's friendly sometimes, but if he's hungry, he's a right bastard. He lives just north of them, and he was messing around somewhere around there. Touched something near Bulgraz's dwelling, and came back feeling sick. So they called me down to have a look at him, and yeah, he had just started, though. It was just around his eyes, and just around the corner of his mouth, but I could only see it when he smiled. Like, every time he smiled, it was just this little tiny bit, like, it was almost just like the veins in his face were starting to go from blue, as if he would have looked like through skin and see blue veins, and it was just starting to turn purple, and I thought there was something suspicious about it. Now that you mention it, boy, I haven't heard from them people in quite some time now. It's probably been about... Shit, it's probably been about 8 days.
Doc does not make eye contact with him.
Yeah, they're fucked. Yeah. They're all caught the disease.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
No.
He puts his hands, or his head in his hands now, and he kind of just sighs and wipes his face. Ah, shit. Shit. I just.
Oh shit! With that was too heavy-handed. Was it? Sorry.
There's nothing you could have. Well, I guess for the rest of the town, sure, but there's no way you could have known.
No, I chalked it up to he messed with some. I mean, go outside my abode. There are mushrooms everywhere in this swamp, and they grow in the funkiest of colors, in the funkiest of shades. They glow this way and that way, and upwards and downwards, and some of them grow inside out, and I'm not even sure how that's possible. I just assumed he had gotten himself into some of that troll's mushrooms, and, you know, he was starting to see funny colors, and maybe threw up a couple times, and starting to get feverish, and maybe starting to see some colors that, you know, shouldn't have been there. Just standard stuff.
Did you do anything to treat him, just in case Pelo worked a miracle through you, and maybe...
No, I just told him to keep the boy out of the mushrooms and away from the troll's den, and didn't think anything of it. I did tell him, though, if he gets worse, you send a runner up to my abode, and I'll come on down and I'll take a look at him. And damned if I hate to say this.
I mean,
I forgot about him.
Maybe they didn't get sick. Maybe it didn't get worse.
Honestly, my concern is that we've got a troll that's sick with it now.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, I hadn't seen Boggrass in a minute.
Yeah, was he looking all purple?
From the cave.
No, I haven't seen him in a while. That's what I'm saying. I just hadn't seen him in a long time. But if this is spread from person to person, it's a possibility. I mean, if it ain't a mushroom like I thought it was, and I'm wrong about this, then we got ourselves a real bad situation. We got a lot of people who are in trouble.
I mean, we've heard that it doesn't spread like a normal disease. Like you don't like sneeze on somebody and they get the purple death plague.
Death plague?
You don't want that purple death plague, boy.
Oh,
I can't believe
Yeah, and I can confirm. Just thinking back, they did. They said they needed the subjects, which were multiple of each kind of the Sorrowsworn, for experimentation. So they once they crash landed, obviously some of them died, but then the creatures escaped. So obviously the research hasn't and experimentation hasn't been done. They didn't tell us what they were experimenting for. Nobody knew the answer to that.
So, how does this disease spread? I think that's the most important thing, especially if you've already taken, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Xavier told me you've already had a good look at the other 2 crash sites. So if all you got is what's in this swamp, then you consider my house is your house. You do what you got to do and you come back here if you need anything. But we got to get this thing out of here. Now.
I mean, yeah, so far we haven't gotten this purple death plague.
I think
We smushed a few of them.
you may need to have some of the, and this is just me thinking, there's nothing to solidify this thought, but maybe you have to have some of the qualities of what you're encountering. So, maybe you have to be super hungry or super lonely or super
Angry?
yeah, I don't know.
I get pretty mad sometimes.
You,
Should I be
you,
worried?
Bosses.
you get ragey. I think it's different.
Is it?
I don't know. Now I'm getting.
I don't know. It seems you're controlling yourself pretty well. I think it might be okay.
It's when you lose control, maybe. When you completely give into. And again, I don't know. I'm guessing.
Should I like wear gloves when we go to get this guy or something? Or
We should probably just put you in a bag or something.
I do not recommend trying to put a goblin in a bag. I did see that happen one time, and the gentleman that was brought into me the next day was missing 4 fingers and 3 toes. Not sure how it happened, but they just told me goblin in a bag, not a good idea.
I mean, you know a euphemism. Never put a goblin in a bag. I mean, there's a reason.
I can also
You should be
say
lucky you left with just that.
I did do I should say I failed. Well, initially failed. Anyway, an autopsy on one of these things, and they're weird. They're not set up like normal creatures of our plane.
Doc,
Okay.
I don't think that was one of the Sorrowsworn. That was one of their Javarts.
Oh, you're right. It was one of the Javarts. You're right. It was.
Oh, y'all encountered Javats too?
Yeah, they're gross.
Man, I hope they hail you as heroes when this whole thing's done, because you have dealt with some of the grossest creatures on the face of this plane.
Also,
Some of them will. Some of them won't.
Yeah, I heard stories about some of y'all in Middleton. Escapees. You know, there's a bounty on your head, by the way,
no.
Mr. Gray. Big bounty.
I've heard.
Aurora's
You know,
kind
that's
of
not
gotten-
important.
Oh, it is important, Mr. Gray. But I'm a man of faith, and I have faith in you. So, we'll leave that for another day. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, since Aurora's going to kind of cut in from where she's been kind of considering everything. It's not hugely likely that it transmits just by blood because we've been covered with it from when we've encountered them. Same thing with close proximity. It wasn't like the whatever that laughing disease was.
Oh, y'all caught cackle fever? Yeah, there's small mites that live on the back of the mosquitoes in this swamp that carry it. It is, it's a son of a bitch, I'll tell you that much. Just, all you gotta do is give yourself a little... Oh, actually, you know what? I'll tell you what. Before y'all leave here, whenever that happens to be, I'll give you a couple doses of the antitoxin that'll take care of that for you, alright?
Thank
Be
you.
really helpful.
Anyways, I apologize, I digress. Yes, ma'am. Kind of nods at Aurora.
She kind of just nods in gratitude at the thought of the antitoxin. Well, Doc, what other ways can diseases and stuff pass? That's not exactly my anything. If something was diseased, we simply killed it.
So, based on what we've learned, don't think I can confidently apply medicine to anything we're dealing with right now. But based on what we've learned, uh, we know that friendship is strong against these things. We specifically learned that. Connections, that kind of thing. If we've got the lonely and you're dealing with that and you're not feeling lonely, you're not likely to be as affected by it. Again, this is all speculation. This is new. I don't know. But, based on what we do know, I think it has to do with your psyche, where you're at in your mind. If you go up against these things thinking you're going to fail, you're already kind of lost, right?
Yeah, the infections work extremely strange, and I think it depends on the thing we're facing.
It does. Yes, I agree.
Because back in Ree's hometown, the goblins that encountered it didn't have any purple veins. They were shadows. Let's be honest.
Right. Yeah, they didn't appear to have the disease unless that was what happens when you fully get the disease. I don't know. But
And well, the fever back in the Druids Grove affected animals as well. Even though we've come into contact, it didn't affect us.
well, remember that kind of looks over at Aurora like side eye. The turtle that was there was also affected.
Yes, and so was their Beastmaster.
Mm-hmm. And the beast, I believe, as well. Both of them.
Yes, the animals, the beast. Yes.
I would be more interested in finding a way to get the ones that seem to slip into the shadows to be unable to, so we could actually put them out of their misery.
Yes, they can phase through shadows and avoid hits.
Okay, so thinking about the mental, sorry, some of this is coming back to me. So when we were speaking with the dead, they said there were 2 of the angry on the ship, 4 of the hungry, 4 of the lonely, 3 of the lost, and 35 wretched. They each had specific identifying abilities or qualities about them. Obviously, the angry were furious, the hungry were starving, the lonely were terrifying. The lost, I think, made you feel secluded, and the wretched, absolutely pitiful. So, again, from what we've learned, they're resistant to pretty much everything. They don't have any weaknesses. And I do think it has to do with our mindset going into it based on where these things came from.
Right, but based on what you just said, we've killed 1 hungry, 1 lonely, and maybe like a couple of wretched.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning there's, and from what the map says, this is the last place that is, well, the main focus, and the last place the ship dropped.
Right,
So
and
unless some escaped the ship, I'd say we're in the hornet's nest.
I think you're right.
Could you mentioned some divination thing. Could you do that to help locate where they might be to make sure no one else is at risk from them?
Locate where who would be.
Locate where any of the Sorrowsworn might be beyond the ones we expect in this area.
Oh, sweet girl, I have not seen any of these creatures myself. I've only seen manifestations of them, so there's no way for me to divine upon that. I am not even entirely sure where this vessel landed within my swamp, which is where I would assume it would be in and or around. However, I can tell you this much. The northern half of this swamp has been untouched by whatever that impact was. Now, the southern half is not really my specialty. I kind of steer clear of there because there's some unsightly characters who like to dwell down there, including a group of lizard folk who unfortunately consume anything they see fit, including themselves sometimes. Bless their hearts. But my assumption would be that, so from where I am right now, I control, essentially, the northern half of the swamp. I have one contender here who gives me trouble from time to time. Alright? And that is Bowgrass. He is just to the southwest, probably about 2 hours travel. To the
Is
south...
that troll guy you're talking about?
It is the troll, yes. Now, just to the south of where he is the villages. Again, probably 2, maybe 3 dozen strong at best. And what they tend to do is they bring up a lot of crafting materials for alchemists, and they give them to me in exchange for healing and food. I sell those materials usually to Kerberg or Silver Peak, and then I take that money, purchase supplies for them, and then I send it back with their runners. It's a trade system. Anyways, I digress. Now, south of that, I don't have a whole lot of information about, but what I can tell you is that to the very far southwest is where the lizard folk tend to roam. They don't really come far north. On occasion they do, but swamp dwellers will fight them off no problem, for the most part. And if they get anywhere near old Bullgrass, he'll tear their asses apart, quite frankly. So my guess would be south central or southeastern part of the swamp is probably where you're going to want to head as far as where this piece landed. Now, I will also say this. If you can pay Bullgrass a visit, see what the hell is going on in his abode, and then maybe take a visit to the swamp dwellers, make sure everything checks out there, I would truly be in your debt. If you are willing to at least vow to me that you are willing to do that, I will open this hut to you. You come back anytime you need to. You can sleep. I will feed you. You can take a hot bath. I will draw you water. I will heat it up. I will scrub your feet if that's what it comes down to. But I need to make sure that my part of the swamp is taken care of.
That's a big undertaking, buddy. I don't know if you've seen my feet. I'm sure you want to.
He says, I don't think you've seen how big my heart is.
You realize that if they have been afflicted by this, we will have to kill them.
At this point, he does glance down at your feet, Rhea, and you see his eyes kind of go wide, and he looks back over at Aurora. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, what?
You realize that if your friends in the village are afflicted by this, there is no cure that we found. They will have to die.
They are my acquaintances and my business partners. They are not my friends. I have no friends. It is easier for somebody who needs to be the voice of reason and bury the dead on a regular basis to hold no friends. My friend is my Lord and Savior, Pelo, God of light and the shining sun. But yes, I do care about those people, as I have for damn near 45 years now helped those women bring their children into this world and eased the dying out of this world. I have fed them when they are hungry. I have bathed them when they are sick. I have healed them when they are wounded. And I do care about them. But they are my charges, not my friends.
Aurora's just gonna kind of shrug at that, just kind of that half shrug and just, well, as long as you understand what you're asking us to do.
Aurora enters the village. So anyways, then I started blasting.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't. If they're not gonna fuck with us, maybe we won't fuck with them. Kind of scenario here. I mean, slow down a little bit there, Aurora. I mean,
Well, I'm not saying kill them if they're healthy. I'm saying if they're afflicted, we don't want this to spread further.
Right.
We tried being kind before.
We will assess the situation when we get there.
Yeah.
All I ask is that you pay a visit.
Yeah, there's no reason we couldn't do that, especially after all you've done for us here.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Well, it's a starting point, and we don't exactly have another lead. So. Well, it's either that or we visit a troll, and I'd rather visit the town.
I highly suggest you visit the troll too, especially if there's something funky going on there. It may lead to clues about this disease of yours. If the disease is legitimate. If not, obviously that's a thing too, but you don't have to go visit Bullgrass. I'm just saying there's something happened there that made that boy sick, and again, I haven't been down to the village, they haven't been up to see me, my mind wanders, and I forgot about it until you mentioned it, so just do your investigatory work, and I mean, you've gotten this far, so I'll trust whatever it is that needs to be trusted.
We'll at least try to take a peek quietly, so...
Understood. Also, if you need any equipment, supplies, healing, I have some items for sale, some of which are minor in nature as far as magic is concerned. Plenty of potions. We do one thing well down here in the Swamp of Sorrow, and that is make people happy. No, but seriously, we got plenty of alchemy. So if you are interested in anything, I'd just ask for fair donations to the church, and so I could pay my tithes to Port Whirling, and I'll get you set up. You just let me know whatever you want. My store is open for you 24/7. In the meantime, I'll let you all discuss amongst yourselves. I'm gonna have a step into the back here, and actually, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna have a step outside real quick if you don't mind.
You got a shit?
No, I'm gonna smoke my pipe.
Oh, nice.
Bree, don't you have stuff you can smoke too?
Oh, yeah, I do. Maybe. I don't know if I smoked this.
You absolutely do.
Three, don't start before we've talked. And do that before we go to bed.
Okay, fine. How do I ingest this unicorn wax? Do I like rub it on my eyeballs, or do I smoke it?
You smoke it.
So he looks at you kind of crazy. He's like, "Wait a minute, you got unicorn wax?"
Yeah. What, you want a hit?
I'm gonna go outside and smoke my pipe on the front porch. Y'all take care of yourselves, and maybe I'll see some of you outside, and maybe I won't.
I'll see you outside in a minute, buddy. Alright, so we need healing potions, yeah? Like, you're gonna get fucked up for sure.
This is so fucking
I would
ridiculous.
like to see if there's a way to navigate through the swamp without attracting every insect in it.
We could not use light. That seemed to work well, but he probably has some potions or things like that.
Well, I can't exactly aim very well if both my hands are occupied.
I'm not even gonna say it.
It's there. The joke's there. We're gonna leave it.
I'm just gonna leave it alone. So anyways, then I started blasting.
You
It's
know
gonna be
I'm
difficult to
tempted.
shoot. It's gonna be difficult to shoot when you can't see more than 5 feet.
You've always made a pretty good target, Gray.
So what I'm hearing is I need to stay up further than 5 feet.
Maybe let's not shoot each other.
Oh, I did okay with in that cavern with blind firing, but it's definitely not my preferred method of not, shooting an ally.
We'll figure that part out. So we have to go check on this town. We need to check on the troll. And we need to find the rest of the shipwreck. 35 wretched is a lot of wretched.
Did we fight that many wretched? No?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I think we fought like 5 at most.
Do you think maybe they got squished? Or there's like a shit ton more?
I mean, it's certainly they can die. We know they can die, or at least poof out of existence on our plane. So maybe some of the ship landed on them and steamrolled them, and now we only have a couple.
I suppose some of them could have died in the crash, but it's unlikely because they did seal those tubes up to go. That being said, I don't think if we do encounter them, I do hope that we don't, well, fight them if they're all together, obviously.
I can cast banishment on 2 of them at most.
And then we're going to have to wait a minute. And if that alerts any of the others, it's going to be a problem.
To be fair, that's also not at the same time. It's concentration for one of them.
But if I cast it at a higher level, if I cast it at 5th level, I can target 2.
That is true.
And then once
Does that mean you only have one shot at that, basically, or?
Yep, for 2 of them. For 1, I have 4 shots, technically, I guess. And again, that's assuming that I'm in a safe bubble not being touched.
So that gives us 6 at most.
No, it's 4 at most.
How many did the thing say? That the manifest say that they had on board? 2 of them?
There were 2 angry, 4 hungry, 4 lonely, 3 lost, and 35 wretched.
Okay, so we might be facing 2 of them at once, or maybe one of them got smushed.
Hey, Doc. What school of magic is banishment?
Abjuration?
She lets out a low breath. If we can get our hands on a couple of scrolls, I may be able to help.
So I really like this priest a lot. I'm doubting that he's going to have many of those. We could certainly try.
It's abjuration, at least. I can try.
I think most of us can try. Whether it succeeds or not, it's going to be something else.
Right.
Well,
That being said, maybe we'll get lucky and the locals killed off most of the wretched.
Well, my concern is the locals are going to be the shadow creatures of the last time we encountered these things. I'm concerned that we're going to go check on the town and it's going to be there. Because if your ship crash landed, the ship that you were, trapped on, would you just sit there and... Right.
Absolutely not. I mean, every other one kind of, branched out a little bit, except for the one in Poodoo, but that was because it landed inside Poodoo.
So, yeah. So I think we need to have a few plans.
For now, I think we should just see what we're dealing with before we go too much.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's the point of planning, is to have an idea of what you're going to do in the ifs.
We'll sneak quietly. If we get spotted, we run away.
And we're not doing it one by one here. We're going together.
Yes.
You're not sneaking up ahead.
I didn't do that well when I did it well.
So, yeah, that's a good idea. We look out, sneak out the area, check it out, see what we got, see what kind of talent. It's probably there. I feel like if, everybody just suddenly disappeared. Just haven't heard about him anymore. It's probably there, chewing on some, you know, dwarf heads right now, or whatever it does.
Point is, when we head there, we're gonna have to be careful.
Yeah,
We'll see what it is first before we start doing anything.
You can make us like super sneaky, right? Couldn't you, Greg? You can like make us all like invisible. I see you disappear all the time.
I can turn. Let me just confirm because I have a 5th spell slot now. 1 second.
Well, and of all of our plans to sneak away, how many times have we successfully done that? Okay, so that's why we need 2 plans.
I've snuck away quite a few times.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, Grace snuck away real well, actually.
Okay, well, so I can only get one of us in the
Okay, so then if we can't successfully sneak up and away as a group, and we walk up on a town full of afflicted individuals, we need to do our best to scope out a vantage point of some kind so we have control over what happens. Because if we walk into the middle of town and then discover and then they can circle us, that's a bit of a problem.
I do have the ability to take 2 of us 500 feet away. I can do that like 3 times.
So you can do it.
Will
for
it
2
work
people
better
then.
than the last time you tried it?
Listen, just because you had some magical bullshit chains does not mean my ability sucks.
When did you try it?
Yes.
When I was, she like full out like stopped and like restarts. In the dream, that was when we tried it unsuccessfully.
So, just so I'm clear, she's like trying to hold back a smile while she's saying this.
I swear, Doc,
Ray
you rub it in, I'm gonna cast silence. I will.
willingly put himself in danger to try to save Aurora, and used a spell, even though it didn't succeed. He tried.
Nearly got its head taken off. I'd say it was a pretty good act of him.
There was so much fire.
There was so much fire. And it's at that point that as Aurora affirms that was a pretty good act, that Gray's black eyes transform completely into silver but non-glowing. You watch it happen in front of you.
Doc puts her hand
He
in-
has not become a normal Azamar, but he has undergone a very physical and noticeable transformation.
Ooh.
Doc's hand shoots over to cover Aurora's mouth.
Is it just the eyes, or is it like the hair as well? Because I feel like that would kind of change.
Nope, just the eyes at this point. I have actually
okay.
a chart based on all the fucked up shit about your character. And we're slowly working towards that. We started with the halo and we're working down.
I accept this.
Aurora does not protest the hand.
That's a thing you did. Okay, so if they are all purple veined, and sure, her hand comes off of Aurora's mouth. I think we should prepare ourselves. Like I said, just kind of have an idea of what our plan of attack is. Obviously, we've got Ree, who will stop thinking about bunnies. Ray, would you be able to maybe try to distract a group of them without including any of us with that one spell that I've seen you use before?
Oh, the light thing?
That depends on how they are. 'Cause, the space we are in. It depends very much on what's happening around us.
Okay.
I can at least pull them back with the strings that you're all familiar with, as well as blind them.
Okay.
And if we come across one of the bigger ones, I can try and hold it in place.
Well, and just so we know, if I see one of those things, it's immediately my thought is that I should try to cast banishment on it because, again,
How close do you need to be for that? Like, do you need to like smack it and banish it, or can you be like?
no, I can be like, she's clearly trying to think of terms to explain this.
Like how many snake lengths away?
Like normal size snake, I guess 60.
How many giraffes away?
Like 10.
Okay, like laying down or
Let's stick with the snakes.
I have no idea how long a fucking snake is, so that doesn't help me either.
This many is it could do 60 of these.
Okay, Ree, take
Uh-huh.
this building in here. Do it probably the building and then another like half of it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So I don't have to be right on top of it. However, if you're up there fighting, I can't be as useful in healing as I could if I was up there with you. So we just have to really be careful. That's all I'm saying. We go into things without thinking too often.
You know what I think? I think that we can make all the plans in the world right now, but they're not going to mean a damn thing if we don't find a way to get close enough and look close enough together to look, not one person going off to get devoured by gnolls, but not really. Not
Listen,
one
I died
person.
already. I already died. I get it. I
Yeah.
don't even have to live it down because I already died.
Yes. Well, let's find a different way to scout because that's anytime we went to do a big hunt, anytime we went for a village or something like that where we were going up against a group, we scouted first. Always.
And again, I don't disagree with scouting, but nothing ever goes the way we plan. Ever. So if we plan on being able to successfully scout, and we don't plan for what happens if we don't successfully scout, we're going to have our asses hanging in the wind again.
So we go invisible, right? Whoever can go invisible goes invisible, and no lights, be all sneaky as possible, and just try to maybe climb a fucking tree or something. I don't know.
Yeah, just try to be sneaky, and then again, like I said, backup plan. Our plan of attack, if you will, should it come to that. Now, best case scenario, we show up and everything's business as usual, and, unfortunately, that kid got into some bad mushrooms.
Where did he find those mushrooms? Where?
By the troll.
That's disgusting. What? I'm gonna go find those mushrooms and eat them all.
Worst case scenario is we walk up and one of those creatures is there controlling all of the people of the town. And so I just want to make sure we are preparing ourselves. And if you can't do it for you guys, do it for me, please, because I am sick and tired of showing up in situations and feeling like we have no control and somebody dying. It's usually me.
I didn't want to
It
be
is
the one to say
usually
that.
me.
It's usually either you or Gray.
Speaking of which, there's a lot more to your history than you ever told us, Gray, but that'll be a story for another time, I think.
Sorry, what now?
Your spirit is much weaker than I anticipated.
I think that's just because I'm physically weak. I don't know how that works.
No, your spirit has its own. Your physical and your spirit are very different.
True. That's true.
Okay.
Either you were being punished for falling. I've never actually encountered a fallen before, so it's possible that maybe your spirit took a hit from that, or you've died more times than you told us. And either way, I just want to make sure we're being careful. That's really what it comes down to.
I don't want to die any more than I have to.
That's a good place to be.
On a side note, I think showing up in the village being covered with enemies is, I think, more everyday business than it being perfectly fine for us at this stage.
Oh, and you're not wrong, but that's why I wanted to just talk it out. I just wanted to talk it out. Okay, so we will scout. I think we need to get sleep tonight. We'll scout tomorrow. Hopefully scouting goes well, and then we can head toward where the wreckage is. I will make sure that I'm ready for banishment and possibly a fight. And so we said potions. What else might we need from? I mean, we don't know what he has, but what else might we want to ask for?
Potions, scrolls.
A way to navigate without bringing the cactus bugs onto us.
Yeah, maps and like anti-bug shit.
Yeah, bug repellent.
Yeah.
Rub some lemongrass on.
Kevin, while they are talking, I'm going to use primeval awareness,
Okay.
just so you know.
And how far are we extending that?
Just a mile. This is sure
Just
as
a
fuck not my favorite terrain.
Yeah, no, well, can't you expend a spell slot to make it go further, or is that...
Um,
or do you just
I-
have to expend a spell slot anyways?
I have to do a spell slot anyway.
It doesn't matter, you guys are going to rest, so either way. So, okay, so you activate Primeval Awareness.
Oh, it's 1 minute per level of spell slot, but I always just do first level because I'm not concentrating on it.
Right. Alright, so... within 1 mile of where you are at, as you open your senses to the natural world around you, you sense dragons, and you sense fiends. I'm sorry, not fiends. You sense fae. You sense dragons and fae within 1 mile.
Okay. I will let the others know that. If she, awkwardly crouches down to the ground mid-conversation.
Oh, she's doing her thing again. You feeling that death dragon thing
Yeah,
again?
let me guess. Dragon.
Dragons.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yes. And there is a, you feel, actually, because of your heritage, give me 1 moment. Give me an Arcana check, please, Aurora.
Oh, I'm so good at those. I'm the best sorcerer.
You're getting better. Never mind. You sense dragons.
God, the dice have a sense of humor. Dragons and fae.
We can ask him if fae is common around here, just in case that's something new.
I can go out and ask him. I was about to go join him in a moment anyway.
Yeah, maybe ask him before you join him in the moment, though.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna go and join my boy. All right.
So, Rhea, as soon as you open the door, you smell the unmistakable scent of halfling weed. It just permeates the air around this guy, and he kind of looks up at you, and he's smoking this big, like, wooden Gandalf-looking pipe, and he says, "Oh, well, you did decide to join me. I thought y'all were gonna talk into the night."
Oh yeah. Well, no, I wanted to ask you a question or two. First off, is that drugs you got there? Can I have a hit? You want to share some drugs?
He smiles and he hands the pipe up to you. "I don't know if I would call it so much drugs as medicine, but you're welcome to it."
Okay, fair enough. Maybe we'll take a hit off of it, and then she'll pack her pipe with the unicorn wax.
All right. So at this point, he looks down at the unicorn wax, and you feel the soft, gentle euphoria of the halfling weed kind of take over, and it chills your system. And hang on, I gotta pull my drug sheet up. You guys are fucking ridiculous.
My bad.
Okay, so unicorn wax. So you pull the unicorn wax out. It is a white and silver wax, almost with like glitter in it. But the glitter is actually fragments that have peeled off of the bone structure of a unicorn. This is literally a unicorn's wax that is produced as the unicorn grows, or the horn grows. So you roll it into a ball, you put it into your pipe, and you light it. Actually, he hands you a tinder twig. He kind of strikes it and hands it down to you, and you take a couple of puffs from it. So I need you to roll a d12 and a d6 for me.
Okay. And as she's taking a hit off of this, she says, "So, are there any fae around here? Is that normal?" I rolled a 2 on the d12 and a 1 on the d6.
Okay, so the so 2 on the 12. Okay, so for the next 2 hours, you are experiencing, as it hits your system, you are in the most euphoric and calm state you could possibly be in. As you glance around and you see the little dome of shadows above you in this clearing, and the mushrooms kind of glowing in their weird, like, pseudo-phosphorescent glow within the darkness, you start to have hallucinations of absolutely fantastical, magical, bright colors that just don't belong here. The grass turns purple, the sky flashes this almost fluorescent green, the mushrooms begin to turn like wave different colors. The physical world doesn't change, but the colors of everything become an absolute shit show of rainbow dances, everything you could want and imagine in a unicorn drug. So that lasts for you for 2 hours, and the hallucinations do. And for the next, you said you rolled a 1, is that right?
Right. Yep.
Okay, so the 1 on the d6 for the next hour, your wisdom is increased by 1.
Wow.
You feel like seeing the world around you in the way that you are seeing it, as you should truly always see it, has made you much wiser to, quite frankly, everything. And in fact, it literally has.
Brings me up to a whopping 0.
Fuck yeah. Hey, drop that negative. You're just like, whoa, this is what normal people see?
Oh, wait, do you mean like the total score, or?
Yeah, no. Your total score. Yeah, so you have a 9?
9.
So you
So
become, so
currently
your
it would
wisdom's a
bring
10.
it up. No, currently it would be. If I'm currently 8, it would bring it up to 9.
Yes, so it's still a negative 1.
Yeah.
But it's a little better.
Nice.
So he kind of he reaches out for the pipe. This is over the course of a few minutes that it takes effect, but he takes the unicorn wax and he says, "May I?"
Oh, please.
Just so I know how long this guy's tripping for. Oh my god, I rolled a 12 on the hours. Oh shit, I rolled max on both. I rolled a 12 and a 6, so for the next 12 hours he's tripping, and he has his wisdom also increased by 1, which brings him to an 18 wisdom. That is fucking awesome.
Wow. Why is this fuckboy?
Yeah, so he takes a... I mean, you see him kind of like stealing the show, and he kind of stops himself and hands it back to you, and he goes... And as the smoke leaves his mouth, Ree, this is your first realization that you are fucked, because as the smoke comes out,
purple glitter.
Yeah, it's literally just like this weird, like purple and pink glitter that just
Oh, dude.
and it doesn't just dissipate, it settles on his clothes, and he looks down and goes, "Oh, you see that too?" And he shakes it loose.
Oh, that's fucking wild.
But he looks
This
down at you.
swamp is awesome, man.
He says, "Now, I don't know where you got this unicorn wax, but boy, it's been a long time since I've indulged. So, first and foremost, thank you. Secondly, you asked about Faye in the area.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Aurora in there said she sensed fae and dragons. Is that normal around here in these parts? Whoa, 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 whoa.
Damn, I didn't realize I was this tan. Never saw myself in a shade of blue like this, but I'll take it. I'm sorry.
You look more green to me right now.
Oh shit, you're right, I am green." And he reaches out and he touches you, and as he touches you, your green-hued and your like greenish-brown-hued skin, you see it transfer to his body, and he becomes your hue.
I like
He's like, "Oh, now this is fun."
that. Wow, I gotta give me some more of this. Yeah, my boyfriend got that for me.
Your boy. Oh.
Well, fiance, technically.
Well, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, keep an eye on that one.
I hear that all the time. Yeah.
On a serious note, we ain't got a lot of fae in these parts. However, there was one bit of my divination a couple of days ago that I didn't mention because it didn't have to do with this Nothraxian character. And it was a shadowy figure. Long, very tall and lanky, with horns like a goat that reared out of its head. It was supposed to be accompanying you and your friends, watching from the rear. Always watching, but never saying anything, at least not outwardly. When I met and talked to your friend today, your boyfriend, excuse me, your fiancé, my apologies, ma'am,
Numbers.
I felt a presence deep within his being that I can't say for sure matched that, but was definitely 100% Fae in nature.
Ah, interesting. So, I don't know anything about his mentor, right? I've never seen it or anything.
Nope.
Ah, interesting. I mean, he always has kind of like the shadowy thing about him. I mean, well, more so in the past, not so much anymore. And now he's got his halo. Now he's got silver eyes. It's pretty cool.
Silver eyes.
Yeah, no, it's just his eyes just went from black to silver just a moment ago. It's pretty cool.
You see him start to smile, and you see tears well up in his eyes, and he goes, "I have faith. I have seen the light in this boy. He has seen the light too. Yes! And he grabs his holy symbol and he kisses it.
So that's good. Okay, good. Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yes, keep watching that. Once his skin turns to a beautiful silver or gold hue from that dirty alabaster that he's got now, and his hair turns from that inky black to a beautiful silver, white, or gray, ooh, that boy is back on the path of the righteous.
So, I know, like, basically it comes from, like, you know, like him doing good deeds and all that. But, I mean, like, I don't know, does it actually change who he is? I mean, like, if he says, like, okay, fine, I do all these good things, I don't kick that puppy, I help that kitty over there, whatever, you know, and then, like, what happens? Like, the next day he decides, like, you know, burn a rabbit orphanage down or something like that? Like, does that, like...
No, Ree. Listen, it is not about what one does, but about what one does and the intention behind it. He has done things terrible in his past that have pulled him from grace and put him in a pit of misery, despair, and darkness. However, he has realized the error of his ways throughout his time spent with probably such a beautiful fiancée as you. Did you know your hair is as golden as the sun is bright? My goodness, look at you.
Black as fuck. What are you talking about?
You look down and it's like purple with like silver streaks.
It's like purplish.
Oh, wow, this unicorn wax is
Some
strong.
strong shit.
He says, it is about the intention that causes one to achieve the path of the righteous, because a mind that continues to want to do good and succeeds at doing so will foster a future of positivity and kindness and joy and good and light. If he continues to do good things and truly mean those good things, not superficial like helping an old man cross the swamp, but like pulling a friend from a burning building because he knows if he does not, they will perish. That is something that will change him from the inside out, whether he likes it or not. Now, he may still wind up in angsty little shit, but he will be good and pure of heart eventually, if you, his sweet, beautiful, golden-skinned fiancée, continue to guide him down that path. My God, your hair is purple. Holy shit. Give me
He's going through all the colors right now, man.
And he kind of rocks forward and he looks back and up at the sky. He's like, whoop, nope, that's not what I was hoping for. Alright. I heard Russian waves for a few seconds there, and I thought I was going to lose myself, but I'm back, and I think I'm okay. Yes, he's on the path of the righteous, and I think that fostering that path will assist in leading him back. And remember that the superficial acts of good and kindness can be easily outdone by the bullshittery and asshattery. But a true act of good or kindness will rebuild the character that exists within him innately.
I guess I did notice that, like, after we fought the Hungry, and, you know, several of them, you know, he died, I think, and Doc died. Suddenly, like, you know, they both came back to life, and then next thing I saw, he had that halo, so I wonder if he sacrificed himself to bring back something?
He may have met his maker and maybe struck a bargain. He met maybe some entity and struck a bargain. If that is how it happened, if that is truly how it happened, there is a distinct possibility, my girl, that yes, there was some self-sacrifice. And self-sacrifice is the ultimate sacrifice. If you weaken your own soul for somebody else, especially if it is somebody who you dislike or despise, for the sake of good, it'll set you on the path. It'll set you on the path.
He's a pretty good guy. I think I'm going to head back inside. I think we both need to sleep this off because, wow, your face is doing all kinds of crazy shit right now.
I think I'm probably going to go ahead and keep watch tonight because, and as he blinks, you realize his pupil, you can't tell where the whites of his eyes start and the fucking pupils stop.
Really?
I'm an old man.
You know? I mean, like, what it... Okay.
I'm just going to get, I'm going, you know what? I'm going to go talk to Pelo for a little bit. I think that's probably the thing I should do.
Okay, that sounds good.
But if you all need anything, you come see me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, let's go inside because we have some stuff we need. We need some supplies. We need some medicine, some health potions and such.
Oh, all right. And he stands up and he goes, "Who the hell painted my door?" And he
Oh
walks
yeah,
in.
shit. It was brown before. Now it's like purple.
So these two, so as this conversation is happening, is anything happening on the inside? You guys got probably, 10 minutes of conversing or actions or whatever you'd like to do.
I think at some point, like maybe even I don't know if Aurora's still distracted. Well, no, because she said that before we went outside. But anyway, if Doc is able to catch Gray's glance, she would just mouth the word "thank you" to him and just leave it alone.
Gray's gonna be staring at the door, going, "I have a sudden urge to paint it." Yeah, Gray's gonna look at you confused and be like, "What?"
She'll just go toward Aurora and then leave it at that. But otherwise, I think honestly we'd probably just be sitting here. Doc would be kind of looking through her stuff and would take out. So, okay, question. So the ruby dust, how was that presented to her? Was it in a jar or was it in a?
I told
like a
you last
vial?
time it was in a clay jar.
A clay jar. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Small clay jar. Much smaller than what it came in.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know if I told you that last time. I said it like I did, but maybe I didn't.
It's okay. Yeah, sorry. Okay.
Maybe I ate a bunch, or maybe I smoked unicorn wax before. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. If someone's like, "Yo, you want to smoke unicorn wax?" I'd be like, "Fuck, done."
Half
I was
by.
gonna say, smoking
Done.
unicorn wax without me. All right.
Sorry, baby. Sometimes we gotta do these things. You're gonna babysit me.
I've done worse.
Me too.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess it would just be kind of like sitting, just kind of hanging out for right now after everything we just went through.
Okay.
Waiting for Ree to come back in. At some point, she'd be a little concerned. I don't know how long did you say? 10 minutes or so?
Yeah, probably. I think that was about a 10-minute conversation
Okay.
or so.
It would probably be right about the 10-minute mark that Doc would be like, I need to go make sure nobody else got ripped in half, and then. I mean,
Okay, so with that being said, Gray and Aurora, what are you two doing during this time?
Gray's gonna turn to Aurora and go, "Right, so since the threat," and he's gonna point towards the door, which is absolutely Ray, is out of the room, I think I'm gonna go take a wash. If she does come in, I don't think you'll be able to stop her even if you try it, but I don't know, attempt something.
If
I
she
can-
comes in, I'll let
Anyway,
her
you
know
have fun.
exactly
Goodbye.
where you're at.
I got your back, Gray.
You're already out. Go away.
I didn't leave. She stood up as they were walking in.
Well, then that's my response.
In that
Anyway,
time,
goodbye.
Aurora is going to go and she's just going to sit, probably on the floor because it's Aurora. Like after she had, done the dragons and fae check, she's just going to kind of sit cross-legged there. And she's going to kind of just reflect a little bit, try and go to that kind of calm spot where she was before and kind of put out a little bit of mental feelers to see if great-grandfather is still incredibly irritated at her. She's not trying to start a conversation. She's just kind of doing like gentle apology vibes inwardly as she's kind of thinking. And that's about it. It's only 10 minutes.
Okay,
On
so-
a side note,
Yeah, please.
in a few minutes, you're just gonna hear, "Who turned my eyes gray?" from behind the thing.
Awesome. Yes. And there, by the way, there is a mirror on the back side of the partition facing the bed it's not a full standing mirror. It's like a half mirror with a rounded top, and the entire thing is framed with a gold band. But yeah, you see you now.
I figured he'd first try and find his halo, like was mentioned before.
Yep.
Be like, "What the fuck is this?" and mess around with that, and then see his eyes, and that's when he'd say it.
Yeah, and your hand goes right through it. It's although your hand goes right through it, it is physically cold to the touch. And it's definitely something that is not moving as you do your thing. It's odd. It's strange, but you now see what people have been talking about. You are changing. Aurora, please give me an Arcana check, and I'd like you to do it with advantage because you are technically in a place of power because a ley line runs through this swamp. This is only for this purpose, by the way. Okay. So you reach inwardly, and in your own mind, you say what exactly to your great-grandpa?
It's more of like, it's not so much a conscious like trying to start a conversation. It's more of just like holding those emotions and kind of doing that. So it's more of like a respectful apology kind of thing. Like she's consciously just trying to present that, not disturb him. If that makes any sense.
It does. It does.
Because
So-
last time he was very unhappy with her. So
Yes. So as days have gone by since that has happened, since this weird pseudo additional transformation has happened, you reach inward and you offer at least some sort of sentiment on an emotional level as far as apology is concerned. And you receive a response. You hear in your mind and feel even your white scales grow very hot, but it's comforting. It's as if you were a small lizard basking in a desert sun and absorbing that heat that you desperately need with your cold-blooded nature. And you hear,
You are in a place that I am not familiar with. There is another there. The gold dragon cannot be saved. Do not attempt it. It is not worth your energy or mine. Am I understood?
she's going to just say, yes, I understand. But kind of like with that same emotion of like bowing one's head kind of thing, that kind of emotion behind it.
okay, so it's almost like a subservient.
Exactly.
Okay, so you feel the heat lessens and becomes not so much intense as it is comforting, just for a second, and you hear the following words before everything fades, and the words are,
Don't be surprised at what you find when you begin your investigation. Not all is what it seems right now.
and the presence fades, the heat fades, and that all happens within the course of a couple of minutes.
Okay, then she is just going to kind of sit and just kind of reflect then until people come back in.
Okay. And with that being said, guess what? Reopens the door, and as reopens the door, you hear an audible as the priest walks into the door frame, looks up and goes, "Who the hell painted my door?" And then Ree says, "Oh yeah, it is purple." And then they both walk in. So the priest looks around and he goes, All right, now you. Oh my goodness. He glances up at the chandeliers and at the walls, and he looks down at Ree.
This place is way more colorful than I remember.
My goodness.
Wow, I love what you did with the place. What were you guys doing while we were out there? My Carl, you guys, wow. You guys did a great job in this place.
Well, Gray was freshening up for you, I believe.
Oh, yeah?
And it's about this time you hear Gray go,
Why the fuck are my eyes gray?
you hear an audible laugh from the priest. He's... Alright, what the hell do y'all need now? Ooh, wow, sorry. Man, what? I want to meet the unicorn you got that wax from. That is...
Yeah, no, I have no idea.
He turns around. You know, I didn't get all your names, by the way. I know you, and I know Mr. Gray. You two beautiful blue-skinned beauties. What are your names?
The yellow one, that's Aurora. And the magenta one...
He points at Doc.
Yeah, no.
Alright.
The other one.
Oh, shit. Okay, yep.
The yellow one's Aurora. The magenta one is Doc.
Oh, alright. Oh, okay, beautiful. Alright, Aurora, Doc. And they, and he looks down at Yuri and winks and says, an Autumn?
Oh, yeah, totally, yep.
Okay, good. Alright, excuse me. What can I do y'all for as far as the, Ree had mentioned to me y'all need... you need... potions? You need potions.
Healing.
Or, I've got magic items, potions, supplies, you take what you need. What do you want?
What you got for magic items?
He looks down with an almost mischievous grin, Ree, and he says, what are you looking for as far as magic items, little Miss Ree?
Oh, girl, I don't know. Do you got anything that you know like would like pop a nasty interdimensional being like a grape? That'd be good.
You know, to be honest with you, Ree, I don't think I do. But you know what I do have? For you, especially because, you know, you're a little person. I have this thing. Hold on, let me grab it for you. He turns around and he picks up this little pot and he pulls the top off the pot and he reaches in and he pulls out 2 vials. He says, I made these a long time ago because I thought it would be funny to feed them to the pixies when the pixies were... Well, okay, so... Long story short, this swamp didn't always used to be a swamp. It actually used to be a druid grove. Druid of the Circle of the Spores used to live here before it became a swamp and they abandoned it. Which is ironic considering the mushrooms grew after they left. I think they left them behind. Anyways, I digress. So there used to be little pixies that would fly around all through this place. Wonderful little creatures. Very helpful, a little mischievous. But I thought it would be hilarious to feed them this potion and make them grow real big, right? I call them potions of growth. And if you quaff the whole potion, it'll make you blow up big. It'll make you big ol'.
Oh, not blow up like explode.
No, not explode. You grow.
Like, why would I want that? But yeah, no, I totally get it. Make me big. I like that.
No, for somewhere between like 1 and 4 hours, you become huge. I mean, just
like it lasts for 4 hours. What should I do? If it lasts for more than 4 hours, what should I do?
You probably call your doctor, and that's probably me because I'm giving it to you.
I'll take it. How much is it?
All right.
I have no money.
Oh, well, that's tough.
I gave you drugs.
You gave me medicine, and
Yep.
I am seeing the world in a whole new light. Looks down at Doc and then Aurora, and then like over the partition. Y'all don't have any coin for donations to Pelo?
Oh no, we do. I don't. I just don't. I don't hold the money because I'm not great with numbers.
Oh, all right. He sets the 2 potions of growth down on the side. So what do y'all need then? I do have these available though.
I mean, you said you had healing potions, yeah?
Absolutely.
They're just like the normal variety? Are they like the great variety or like the...
I got all sorts of sorts. Anybody else want to chime in, or what are we doing here?
Well, I know that we needed scrolls too, but I wanted to let Ree talk about potions first.
Yeah, no, potions. I got potions for days. What you looking for? I got regular healing potions. I got potions of greater healing. What kind of potions you looking for, baby? I got supreme potions. I got superior potions. I got potions of vitality, potions of invisibility, potions of heroism, potions of climbing, potions of animal friendship. I got a couple of prayer beads. If you're interested, I put a couple of blessings into those, set a couple Hail Marys over it, and it's on its way. What are we looking for?
That is curiosity. What the prayer beads do?
Well, it depends on the prayer bead you want. I got 2 right now that are technically enchanted. I got a prayer bead of bless, and I got a prayer bead of favor. So the prayer bead of bless, as you could probably have guessed, allows you to activate the bead, which consumes it, and cast the bless spell. And then I've got a prayer bead of favor, which allows you to perform, once you crush the bead, a greater restoration spell.
I don't know, this is gonna sound silly, but I don't know how much donations should be for these kinds of things. I know...
Oh, I got prices listed, sweetheart. What are you looking for? That's what I'm asking. What are you looking for so I can help define exactly what we need?
Well, what do you guys have for potions? Because I know we've used a lot, so we should figure out what we have so we can figure out what we need.
Oh, yeah, no, I got 1 potion of healing, just the itty bitty one. But that's it.
I have one greater.
Oh, and I got fire resistance. Holding that for a very special occasion.
I also just have...
Sorry, go ahead, Aurora.
I also just have a single potion of healing, but I am less concerned about that for myself.
Well, it's also about our party, though. So I have a greater. We have 2 regular. Gray, what do you have for potions?
If I recall correctly, I had a regular and a greater.
Okay. How much would the beef? Did you say you had a superior?
Yes, I've got 1 superior, which is the best healing potion. Actually, that's not true. The best healing potion you can get is the supreme. I have so the superior I have 3, and the supreme I have 1. The superior I can do 450 gold pieces a piece, and the supreme is 1,350. You know what? I take that back. Have you all technically committed and vowed to looking into my problem for me? Because I have not actually heard it from you.
I mean,
I'm going.
Yeah, I vow. I give him my vow.
Alright, so here's what I'll do for you. I'll give you a 15% discount on anything that I have available to sell to the general public, including those in and outside the swamp. 15% off anything you want.
Well, I'm assuming that you don't, just based on our conversation earlier. But do you have any scrolls of banishment by chance?
Oh, I got a couple of scrolls lying around, but they're more in the ways of raise dead, resurrection, revivify. I got a couple of lesser restorations, but not. I don't. There's no reason. There's nobody here. I need to banish in this swamp.
So I feel like having those scrolls of revivify and restoration
Yeah.
are good to have, right?
Yeah, the revivify. How much would you want for those kinds of scrolls, just so we can kind of figure out our resources here?
Yeah. So the revivify typically goes for 500. It's 200 for the scroll, and then it's 300 for the diamond that would be infused into the scroll. However, because of your discount, I'll sell them to you for 425 gold pieces each, which is better price than you're going to get anywhere from here all the way to Helmcar, to Port Emerson, to Port Sindrian, or Port Wheeler.
Yeah, we've had to pay for those before.
Okay. I think at least one revivify scroll would be a good idea. Aurora, how much? I don't know.
Aurora is going to touch the coin purse and wait for it to load. Saying, the coin purse is buffering today. We have a little
Sorry, your
over.
coin purse has encountered error 404.
It better
No,
not be a
that's when I had
404
it.
coin
Yeah.
not found.
That's
That
when
would
Doc
be
had it.
that would be bad business.
Counting everything all together, we have about 5,700 gold.
Okay. So we can definitely afford at least one revivify scroll. I'm not sure how many you have, but we want one revivify. How much for the raised dead?
So raised dead. Raised dead. Give me one moment. I'm looking at my prayer beads. Give me one moment. Let me put them back in my pocket.
Aurora would probably notice. Doc looks really uncomfortable talking about money. I don't know if anybody else would notice or care, but Aurora would notice. Doc looks really uncomfortable talking.
Reed definitely does not have the wherewithal to notice that kind of emotion.
All right, so that's 544 gold down from 640 with your discount. So I got one raised dead scroll and one resurrection. So 544 for the raised dead.
Okay. That might not be a bad idea either.
Aurora's gonna give Doc a side eye and then look to the priest. Well, we're definitely going to want all three of the superior healing potions.
All right.
And we're gonna want the scroll of revivify and the scroll of raise dead. And then how many invisibility?
All right, hold on, sweetheart. I'm seeing colors that don't exist on the normal spectrum here. I believe only honeybees can see in this amount. Give me 1 second here. So you said one revivify, yes?
Yes.
Alright, so Revivify, Raise Dead, and all three of my superior. We're at 2,319 gold pieces.
Do you have anything for the bugs outside?
Of course I do. What do you think I am? Some kind of charlatan? He looks at you almost dead seriously.
I'm on the other side of the thing, so I can't see him.
You see him, you catch his eye peeking through just like the little slat that separates the two pieces of the partition. Alright, yeah, no, I got, if you're looking for bug ointment, I got that, but I mean, that's, I could give you 5 days worth for a gold apiece.
How about something for someone who can't see in the dark? And he's gonna point to Aurora, or over the, because he's the only one tall enough to do it, but he's gonna point over.
You just kind of swipe, and he goes, I ain't got nothing for people who can't see in the dark.
We'll be okay on that front.
Yeah, if there's ointment for the bugs, that's more than enough. We would love that as well.
All right, so
Thank
that
you.
brings you to 2,323.
And then how many potions of invisibility do you have?
I've got 7 right now. It's a popular thing, believe it or not, to want to not be seen in a hostile swamp. Give me one moment.
While he's thinking, she's gonna turn to the partition. Hey, Bright Eyes, do you need a potion or your magic good enough to get you through for invisibility? If we're gonna be scouting.
My magic should be fine. Also, gray isn't that bright.
Alright, so I got 7 of these, and each one of them with your discount will be 153 gold pieces, down from 180. So what are we looking for?
What do you think, Doc? Should we do 3 for that? 1 for 3 of us that can't cast it, or should we do 6? Or go for all 7? Not thinking about money, thinking about need. And she's gonna look Doc dead in the eye when she says that.
I know I don't know what we're going up against, so I think over preparing is probably better.
Okay, so going for 6 of them then?
I guess. I mean, we're not taking the money with us if we don't make it out, so.
How long does the invisibility last for?
Well, let me see here. He kind of flips
It's
the
like the
bottle over
spout.
and starts reading something.
It's like the spell will probably be an hour, but I'm not an alchemist.
He says, yeah, probably give or take an hour. Now, the important thing about this potion is when you drink it and consume it, you don't need to concentrate on it like a wizard does on a spell. It just exists because it exists.
Oh. That's good to know. And so I can just do anything I want when I'm invisible. Like I can just like flick somebody in the air and like.
Well, there are some limitations on this potion. If you harm somebody, or cast a spell, or do something outside the norm of essentially walking and whispering, yeah, it will break.
Stealth only. Got it.
Essentially, yes.
So do we have enough for like all the potions?
Yeah, we got all 7.
What about that enlargement? Do we have enough for that too?
I did catch the price on that one.
Well, it's because he didn't ask. But yeah, I'll tell you. Give me one moment. It's a little bit more expensive because that's a pretty potent spell. So we are looking at... let's see... So we are looking at down from 270 gold pieces each to 229 gold pieces each, if you'd like it.
I would very much like to be big.
They will make her big for some time without the necessity of concentration.
How many of those did you have?
I've only got 2. But they are powerful. And to be honest with you, I think this beautiful magenta-skinned beauty, would be the one to use them since those damnable pixies didn't drink out of my hummingbird feeders like I'd thought.
Yeah, let's get them both.
Alright, let me do some math here. Anything else?
Honestly, the Revivify and Raise Dead scrolls were better than I thought we were gonna get. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I'd Grade probably ask if he has an item, magic item, that could probably help with sneaking around.
Magic item, you're looking for something that you want to sneak around with. You talking about just like being real quiet like?
Anything that could help, so yeah.
So maybe you're looking for, oh, you're talking about like one of them fancy Sindrian elven cloaks of stealth. Is that what I'm talking about? Cloak of shadows? Is that what you're looking for?
That does sound interesting.
Yeah, I think so. It's a cloak of elven kind is what I believe they refer to it as. Now, I do have one of those. There was an elven magi who came through here. Didn't need it because he bought up all my potions of invisibility, see? So he didn't need his damn cloak from Port Sindrium. However, very, very powerful item. Now, luckily for you, I'll give you a 750 gold piece discount on it because of your 15% discount. However, it will cost you 4,250 gold pieces even with the discount. Very powerful magic item. But it will essentially, once you pull the hood up over your head, make you damn near invisible to anything that looks upon you.
Gray, I don't know how much coin you've got in that hole of yours, but
Not
I don't
enough.
have
I
them
think we're
first.
gonna. I think we're gonna have to X-nay on the cloak.
I mean, with everything else that we've already looked at, it's not a magic item. You don't happen to have any just basic, nothing fancy arrows, do you?
Oh, my dear, this is a place of God. I don't have any weaponry here, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I figured. Worth asking, though. She's going to go into the purse, though, and say, it's gonna have to be a little bit of everything. That's, what, a little over 4,000 gold?
So how are we feeling? He starts to line up all these things. He pulls the scrolls out. He's got the potions kind of lined up.
I think that it's better to over prepare.
Yeah, if we got the gold for it, then yeah, let's go for it. I mean,
yeah. If we don't use it now, we'll use it later. Almost definitely.
definitely. Got any more of that halfling weed, by the way? Halfling medicine?
I have plenty of medicinal herbs and spices, yes, at my disposal. If you are interested, I can maybe set you a little to-go bag.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Just be careful. If you intend on encountering something particularly nasty, I would not suggest ingesting this herb.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely not. I only do drugs in safe places.
Oh, yes, of course, of course. So he kind of like goes into another jar and scoops like these big like green and purple nugs out and kind of like drops them into a small leather sack.
Nice.
All right, so what are we doing here? What are we doing as far as everything is concerned?
Okay. To make sure that I've got the list right and you've got the list right, since we did throw a lot at you, I've got 3 potions of superior healing, 7 potions of invisibility, a scroll of raised dead, and a scroll
Oh,
of...
you're taking all the potions of invisibility. All right, hold on 1 second. I gotta change my math.
I think we said 7, yeah.
I assumed you were only taking enough for the 3 of you because he was going to cast invisibility on himself. Okay, so give me 1 second.
Just one little backup in case he needs to concentrate on
Oh, that's a
something else.
shitload of backup. No, that's no problem. All right, give me 1 moment to add that. All right.
Okay, so
Okay, so we've got 7. All right, so I'm just doing my math here. All right. So we have 3 potions of superior healing, 1 scroll of revivify, 1 scroll of raise dead, 7 potions of invisibility, and 2 potions of growth, as well as 5 days worth of ointment for each party member against the local bugs, and that brings your total to 3,852 gold pieces, and that is including your discount.
oh, I had done math wrong somewhere. I was thinking it was more than that. Huh. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
hold on. No, I think I'm right here, right? So hang on. Let me just make sure I got this right. Hang on. If you want to, I want to question it too if we've got it wrong. So we've got 450 times 3 plus 425 plus 544 plus 4 gold, because it's only 4 gold pieces for 5 days worth for each party member. Not a multiplier, it is just 4 gold flat. Plus 7 times 153 plus 229 times 2. Yep, 3852. That's what we had, right? 3
Yeah.
3 superior healing potions, 1 revivify, 1 raise dead, the bug ointment for 5 days for everybody, 7 invisibility potions, and 2 growth potions. There was nothing additional, correct?
No, that should be
Okay,
everything.
yeah, do with it what you guys will, and that is 3,852 gold pieces.
I know it's a lot of money, but it could help us.
To be fair, you guys saved almost 600 gold with your discount. I mean,
Nice.
literally.
No, Aurora's going to. Do you have a basket or something where I can put the coin in?
He kind of glances around and he takes off of his waist this small coin purse, the pocket plane, and he kind of opens it and says, "You can deposit your coin right here."
Everybody's got one of those things.
Then we are going to do a coin purse to coin purse transfer here.
There you go.
It's going to be 3,002 gold pieces and then 85 platinum.
Well, all right, all right, all right.
And, several minutes later.
It literally is a waterfall of coins that takes, I'd say, easily 5-6 minutes before it's actually done. While that's happening, he kind of just points over at the shelf. Whoever is taking these items, they need to be added to inventories, like, now. So, whoever's taking what, you guys discuss that.
So yeah, Reed definitely wants at least one of the enlargement potions.
You can just take both of them.
Yeah.
Nobody else is gonna need it.
They're for goblins.
Okay.
Just makes me a bigger target.
So yeah, she'll add that then.
I'm tall enough as is.
Then you could be super huge.
I mean, it would be interesting to see what it would be like to use a longbow again. But no, they're definitely for goblins.
You would literally just become your old height.
Maybe bigger.
But can you imagine these scales at that height, though?
No. No, I can't. Okay, so the potions of healing, we should probably So I have a grater right now.
I also have a greater and a regular.
Okay, so gray should be good.
Bree only has normal.
So maybe give Bree a superior. Aurora, what do you have on you?
Well, if you swap me, then I will have a greater and you'll have a superior.
Okay.
Just give her the superior.
So, okay, I'll trade that out.
Eight D4 plus 8. Nice.
Okay, so I'm going to take a greater, and then what are we doing with the last superior?
Put it in the bag of holding.
Okay.
Unless Gray wants to carry 3. I don't want you to get overburdened.
I was about to say that's probably gonna make me too heavy.
Yeah.
I love picturing the tiny little, like, flask. It's too much
Oh.
for... It's like the picks up a flower and falls over.
Literally the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah. Why don't you hang on
Surprise
to...
you, the camel.
Hang on to the scrolls, because I can do both of those. And then the potions of invisibility, we should each probably at least have one on us.
I think we should each take one for now, including you, Gray, and then put the other 3 in the bag as a just in case.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
So who's holding the bag?
It's Aurora.
No, I've got the bag of holding, so.
Okay, so Aurora, you add 4 to yours. 4 potions of invisibility. And everybody
Yep,
adds 1.
and I'm gonna divvy between my bag and the bag of holding.
Understood.
And then,
Well, we all have one potion of invisibility. Isn't there 7 total? So there's 3 going in the bag.
yeah, there should be 3 going in the
Yeah.
bag and one on her. Yeah.
3, 4.
Oh, 1 on.
Yeah, right. So she is holding 4 though.
Right.
You 3 would make up the rest of the 7.
Yeah. And then for the ointment, you want to just give us our... Do you want us all to carry our own?
I mean, are we going to
You-
be doing this as we walk or just at camp at night?
So I would say, as far as that's concerned, you guys just make that a moot thing. You are
Okay.
immune to cackle fever for the
Okay.
next 5 days. As
Okay.
soon as you apply it, it's just like putting on bug repellent. That's why it's why it only costs 4 gold for the entire 5-day dose. It's just
Okay.
it's such a simple herb they found that keeps these damn things away.
Perfect. All right.
This ointment it's already been made into the ointments, right? It's not
Correct.
like in herb form.
Nope, it's an ointment.
Okay. I'm gonna do a rangery thing and kind of like smell it a little bit and see if I can maybe figure out that for if we're ever out and about.
Okay, go ahead and make a nature check.
This is going to go very badly for me.
Are you
but I'm gonna
proficient in
try.
herbalism kit or alchemist kit?
Not anymore.
Okay. Some ranger. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, it was in half orc blood. Now I
know.
get to be proficient in boom.
That's true. You smell it. It is a concoction of a bunch of shit, but the heaviest scent you get is mushrooms of some sort.
Yeah, that's not something I'm gonna try and experiment with.
I almost said lemongrass, but no, it's not lemongrass. That's too identifiable. Mushrooms are way
Too
more
obvious.
ambiguous. All right.
Yeah, well, she did learn from the goblin piss, so we're not.
Oh, that's right. You were fed goblin piss. Oh God, you
No,
were fed.
I poured it on myself because it was wine for a while.
They
that worked
never
well.
told you.
Oh, I think Gray got the goblin piss, didn't he?
That's right.
Oh,
No,
no.
Beaufort.
It's
It
Beaufort.
was Beaufort. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it was the moss and the goblin piss.
Back
You
in
guys,
the day.
wow, this campaign started really fucking weird.
It's been a long time ago.
Well, I mean, look at the original party. Look at the
I
current
know,
party.
I know.
Rhea is the only constant, and that tells you everything you need to know about this group.
To be fair,
To be fair.
after the bullshit Beaufort pulled with his mom and Sharwin, he deserved that goblin piss before he even knew it. Okay, anyways. So,
That is true.
so the potions of invisibility have been divvied. The potions of healing have been divvied. Who is taking the scrolls of res?
I am.
Okay, both. So you have one scroll of resurrection, or excuse me, one scroll of raise dead, one scroll of revivify.
Yep.
I've got them written down at the moment. I'm going to try and add them after stream ends because my thing's being super laggy and I don't want to fuck it up.
That's fine. So all you need to do, just so you know, is you add spell scroll level, and then whatever level the spell is. So 3 for revivify, 5 for raise dead, and then you in the notes you put what spell it is, and then you save it, and it's just a done deal. Just to help you out with that process, because it is a fucking pain in the ass. All right. Anything else that you guys need to divvy up?
I think Gray would kind of throw down a scroll he has as well, and it's a scroll of Thunderwave and level 1. And Gray would go. Not exactly have much use of this. In fact, I don't even know if I can cast it properly. If anyone else wants to hold on to it.
Aurora's going to take a look at it and see if it's something that sparks instinct in her brain. I don't actually have a clue if that's on either of my spell lists.
So sorcerers can cast Thunderwave, yes.
And it's an evocation, so...
But guess what? In the world of Dungeons and Dragons, you do not need to be able to successfully cast the spell based on your spell list in order to try to cast the spell. So if you want to hand it to Ree can try to read it. It will just require an Arcana check, and if she succeeds, how fucking cool would she be? No, I'm just kidding.
That would be
Do
awesome.
not give it to Ree.
I mean, I can make sense of this. You want me to hold on to it?
Like I said,
Whereas if you want to.
I wouldn't. I shouldn't be up there if I'm doing things right. So that could be a get them off of you kind of situation.
Well, I haven't tried much with that sort of booyah, but it's worth a shot. It's not
Alright.
fire or ice, so.
So add a scroll of Thunderwave. It's a level 1 spell, just so you know.
Yep, got it written down.
Alright.
I will delete.
Thank you. So at this point, the priest, he as he is taking the last of the coin, he kind of he cinches up his coin purse, and he turns and he says, "Well, I am essentially," and he looks at his feet, "quite literally walking on sunshine, so I'm gonna step outside for a little while and see if I can't shake some of this, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm freaking out a little bit right now. Excuse me."
Sorry, buddy.
Well, some of the druid shit did that too.
Pretty fucking kitted out now, huh? Nice. Alright. Maybe we got a chance against these fuckers this time. Well, we did. We beat them all last time, but...
In stories, generally you don't say that because it goes bad. At least in most stories I've been told.
Got it. So I probably shouldn't say, like couldn't get any worse, that kind of thing.
Oh. Here
Yes,
we go.
Allow me to tell you the story of Ulrich the Unlucky. And it's basically going to be all the red flags.
Alright, so it's probably night time, and then try
Yeah.
to scout this place out.
Well, there is one thing before we go to bed. I was talking to, great grandfather and all of that. He gave us a little bit of advice. He says, don't be surprised at what you find when you begin your investigation. Not all is as it seems right now.
Don't be surprised. What does that mean?
If someone jumps at you and says "surprise," don't be like, "Wow, oh, surprised."
I mean, you're adorable. No, I mean like what? A surprise about what? Like, Althraxian
Like-
is actually your grandfather? That kind of thing? Or like, is actually your uncle? What?
He absolutely is not, and I would politely request that you don't make such a suggestion again. Yeah.
Okay.
Does Grandpappy not like having family?
She's going to give both of them just a flat look and then turn to Doc. Say, so, I thought you at least would like to know.
I mean, okay. I guess tell him thank you.
You're good. Just thought we should be prepared for that. I don't know what isn't as it seems, but just we need to be careful not to take things at face value right now.
I typically don't anyway anymore.
I guess I'll keep an open mind. If that's what you mean. I'm fucking freaking out. I have to go to bed. Y'all are turning into worms. It's not. I don't like it.
Doc, you want to take first watch with me?
Yeah, I can do that.
Ree, you gonna be able to sleep it off?
I don't know. Maybe. So find out. It'll be an adventure for everybody, especially me.
Yep, good enough. At worst, we still have a little bit of quicksilver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did I not mention I grabbed some from the inn? Just figured it might be relevant at some point. Couldn't imagine why.
I did not know that. That's good to know. Thank you.
Anyway, I'm gonna go lie down over there. And Gray's probably just gonna take one of the pew benches.
All right.
Are we even tired enough for a rest at the moment, considering it's noon?
Yeah,
Or,
so,
2?
well, yeah, it's way past noon now. It's 3, more like 3. But, yeah, you guys are still, you're exhausted because of,
Yeah.
the mess that you went through. So it's easy enough to rest, quote-unquote, and relax. Now, homeboy outside is not done tripping until midnight. He is set in stone. And he literally, if anybody goes outside, he is sitting crisscross applesauce and staring at the statue in front of him literally until midnight, 1 in the morning. He does not move after this sale happens.
Doc actually would be stepping outside at one point.
And you see him clear as day. He's crisscross applesauce, eyes staring into the face of this male statue that is looking down with his arms out. Very clearly a depiction of an avatar of Pelo. And he is just unmoving. At one point, as you begin to walk close to him, you're actually not sure he's breathing, and you watch him, and suddenly he But you go through the course of the afternoon of the day. Ree is only ripped for an hour, and she shakes it off. It takes a while to come down, and even after you come down, and how I won't say this out loud, but there is a euphoria that comes afterwards that kind of residually guides you back into the realm of normality, and it's peaceful. And for the first time, it's like after you get a really good workout in the next day, and then the day after, when you wake up from sleep, you're like, I don't want to get out of bed because my muscles are tender and I just want to sleep. You're in a very good, peaceful place, and your whole, not necessarily your view on reality has changed, but some of that aspect of reality is am I seeing what I'm really seeing, or is it manifestations of my psyche? Blah, and you start... Now, I know Ree doesn't think about these things on that level, but you saw some weird stuff within that hallucinatory hour. So do with that what you will. But it's easy enough to rest.
Nice. Funky dreams, too, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The funkiest.
The funkiest.
Yeah, so after kind of peeking outside and seeing his status, Doc would come back inside and she'd sit down where she was before in the pews and motion for Aurora to come join her.
Yeah, Aurora will join, no problem.
So I do owe the party a little more money because ruby dust wasn't a necessity per se. She's gonna reach into her bag and take out the clay pot of ruby dust and then also take out a small silver key. And she's going to put her hand into the jar and grab some of the dust and start to rub it on the key. And then she's going to cast Continual Flame.
Okay. Give me a sec.
It says I have to have an item, so.
Well, yeah, you gotta cast it on something. You can't just be like, here, take this magical ball of flame that never goes out.
There you go, take this.
Alright. So, as you take the key, or as she holds the key out, the key is your target, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and what key is it that you have?
I just have a small silver key in my inventory.
It's
I'm
from
assuming
our room at the inn, because I have one too.
Okay.
I also have one.
So you pull this small silver
Holy
key
shit.
out, and at the back of the key, at the head of the key, is a brewer's mug etched into silver with a small emblazoned dwarven runic exterior, and you realize that this is from Underhill. And as you hold it out, you pull the pot, the top of the pot off, and you reach in, and as you dip your hand in, Aurora, you're looking at her like, what the fuck is this chick doing? And she pulls out literally a fistful of ruby dust, which as it hits the light just drips into this river of crimson sparkles back into the clay pot. She looks at you and she begins to incant, and as she does so, you hear her voice echo into the ruby dust, and she lets it go. The ruby dust evaporates immediately, a fistful of it just whoosh, and the key ignites in this ruby red flame that initially you rear back from, but as you kind of come to your senses, realize it casts no heat and gives off the same flame as a torch, which illuminates the entirety of this room in this red mystical fire. And she holds it, and the fire burns around her hand, and you do not hear a sizzle, you do not hear a crack, though it does wave and move. This is very similar to the torch that Ree carries with her that burns a green flame.
So we sold it.
We sold it.
Correct. Well, that she did carry
Yes.
with her.
Yeah. So Doc will look at the key in her hand and then kind of offer it forward.
Aurora's just kind of just staring at the key and then at Doc and then at the key, and she's just openly staring at it. Just her expression is kind of hard to read, but it's definitely, there are emotions and a little bit of confusion.
Parlor tricks.
I know that
She ignores the voice in her head.
I know that often find yourself feeling like you're left in the dark. And I really want to take that feeling away from you. And this won't give you the heat of flame that I know you enjoy so much, but at the very least, you'll be able to see. And I know it's not macarons, but it is something that will hopefully be able to make you feel better when you feel like something's missing. And she'll kind of just hold it out, palm up, and wait for Aurora to take it. I learned how to cast the spell for you.
So it's gonna take her a moment because this time she doesn't know how to respond to things in a role reversal. But she's gonna go and she's going to fold her hand over it so her hand is over the key over Doc's, and just say okay. First of all, that was trippy as fuck. That's not what she's saying.
What?
Yeah, because as you cast the spell, the entire interior of the room illuminates in almost a wild, ethereal, vibrant ruby red. Like, that is the light that it casts, and it is...
Yeah, shit, I'm still tripping.
So she starts saying that was, and then Ree goes, "Oh shit, I'm still tripping."
I like the idea that the second that hits, the way Gray was sleeping was kind of backwards, leaned over the thing, and then when that happens, he just like scares and then falls behind over the pew.
And now it's even more perfect just for you.
That's a good word for it. Thank you.
Why is the room a different color now?
Go back to
Reed,
light.
did you share some drugs?
I don't know, did I? You see this too?
Yeah, I'm seeing it too. Though it's kind of weird from this angle.
It was contagious.
Well, things might be confusing as to how we ended up where we did, and she'll kind of glance over at Gray and Ree. Hopefully this will shine some light for you. Just, now you don't have to worry about a light spell or an arrow or whatever.
Why is it green?
Ree,
Is it green?
Because
Ree,
on the screen it looks red to me.
Oh
It is
no,
red.
it is red. That's I turned it red
Okay.
for no. It is. So the one that Ree had was a green flame. The ruby dust that Doc utilized as the material component turns the flame this vibrant ruby red.
Okay.
Clearly
So I missed
unnatural.
that part. Yeah, I missed that
Yeah.
part because I think it cut out. I only heard that it looks like the one Ree had, so I was like, it's green.
No. It's definitely red. I promise you. Yes, what you see is what you get. It is,
Well, then
it is crazy.
I rephrase that and say red instead.
Gray, don't make me learn the silence spell just for you in this moment. Everything's fine. And she's gonna turn her attention back to Doc and say,
I
"Everything's perfect."
accept the task.
All right. So, Cat, you can add an ever-burning torch to your inventory, as that is essentially what has just been created. But in the notes, please add can be dispelled.
I
Ever-burning
don't
torches.
want to add that.
Well, you have to because it's a spell. That's the only variant that is different. You can also add it is red, comma, can be dispelled. And that's it. Okay, so it is 10 o'clock on the dot. That is where we will go ahead and end tonight's session.
Sorry, I don't
go ahead.
actually see that when I search for it. I'm just seeing normal torch things.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I will take a note on it, and I'll add a custom item if I have to, or I'll see where there's a hiccup.
I can just make a custom item based off the small silver key that I already had because I know the weight and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine by me. Go ahead and just do that. Just do it with,
Okay.
and you, instead of putting Everburning Torch on it, just turn it into a just put in the notes, continual flame spell, ruby red. That's as easy as it is.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sure we won't have a problem in the future with that thing being dispelled, but fuck with you guys, we never know.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
have to murder someone, whoever decides to dispel that.
Oh, I know. That was a very sweet gift. Okay, so that is where we'll end tonight's session, and then we'll pick up next week with, I believe, is session... It's going to be session 79.
Wow.
I know, it's been crazy. All right, so have a fantastic week. Kat, get yourself taken care of as far as this potential infection is concerned. Please, please, please be diligent about calling tomorrow for everything that you need. And then
Calling as soon as
for...
they open.
Beautiful. And then for the American friends, have a safe and fantastic 4th of July.
Yeah.
We will not be doing Crochet and Chill this week. I believe Candace has confirmed that on Tuesday because it's the 4th of July. Is that right, Candace?
Yeah, we might do Wednesday if Lucy can't get his stuff up and running.
Yep, bingo. So we may delay it a day, but we'll update as we can. But until then, y'all have a great time, great week, enjoy work, and take care of yourselves.
Night,
Hi,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you. Thanks for the session, as always.
Absolutely.
I love all of your side characters. There's not one I think that I actually dislike. Gray has a different opinion, but I like them all.
My side, you mean the NPCs?
The NPCs, yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Some of
I don't
them
know
are
why
assholes.
I call them side characters, but
No,
I make
that's
them-
okay. They are side characters. I mean, I don't get my own character. I'm a fucking forever DM.
Reed's the main character, clearly. I accept this.
I accept that too. Oh, awesome. Well, good. I'm glad that... I mean, I appreciate that you guys enjoy them as much as you do. There's a lot more... I'm actually currently writing a potential... Because this campaign is in the tail end of its existence because of just where you guys are at and what I've had written for its main theme. And I do have another... what I'm calling like a pseudo campaign being written right now, but it's in its very, very early stages. So just FYI, this universe is nowhere near done. So, okay.
Yeah, we don't believe you about one-shots and things ending anymore.
I didn't say one shot. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll see you guys next week. And yeah, have a fantastic week, guys. And happy 4th of July for everybody who is in America and loves freedom.
Fuck yeah, America.
We don't do that here.
Yeah, I know you don't do that to ya. You just keep blessing those rains, baby. All right, I think we're going to raid Hexalich tonight.
Night, everybody.
Good
See you,
night.
Cav. Have a good one, buddy.
Yo, see you guys.
All right, for everybody who's hanging out right now in chat, thank you all for being
I'll
here
let
so
you guys
much.
know
We're
what,
going to take
what the doctor says.
Okay.
we're going to take everybody and we are going to raid Hexalich. She's playing Sea of Thieves right now. She's only got 6 viewers. I actually haven't seen Hex on in like 7 or 8 days, so this might be her first stream in, I think, in a week. Maybe she took a week. She may have taken a week off. Oh, that's right. Yeah, she's doing her coding stuff now. Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and dive over to this. Again, I do thank you very much for being here and hanging out through the entirety of the stream. And we will see you guys if we're definitely not on Tuesday, not tomorrow because we don't do anything on Mondays, but maybe on Wednesday if Lucy can't stream. And then Thursday, hopefully, we have Torno Logan for the kick playthrough of Hades. If not, that's cool too. Maybe we'll jump on for a Thursday thing, and if not, hopefully we see you on Friday. Either way, we'll talk to you more during the week. All right, love you guys very much, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye now.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Sheepsel. That's really funny. I do